And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Church Jams Now.
Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Kylan Savage, and with me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith.
What? Who? Why? Where?
And, okay,
When?
and our beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
How?
Oh my God.
So close.
This has always been a bit,
close.
but for real, you guys just need to shut up, stop this, because we have a guest who I'm really excited to talk about. This week, we have Valentine Hellman from the W's. We can call you Val, right?
Yeah. Hi.
So, Val, welcome. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Woo woo.
We are super excited. I know this is, I'm going to embarrass our boy Josh a little bit. I know he has been...
Good luck.
He has been beyond excited about this. I think he's brought up how many times on the show have you brought up the W's, Josh?
A couple times for sure.
And then in private life, I feel like you talk about the W's all the time and how you're so excited to finally cover them on the show.
Well, yeah, since we have been doing the show, this has been a record that I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to do the W's. And I'd even tried to reach out to, the only way I knew to contact anyone was through Andrew's project, The Big Fix, that he did a couple years back.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I tried to reach out through that, and I didn't get anything. So I was like, man, hopefully we can get someone from the W's on. And then lo and behold,
I don't even know how to reach Andrew, so
he's just he's off the grid
Off the
these
grid.
days, Yeah.
yeah.
Off grid.
He's not responding to his Bandcamp if anyone tries to message him.
Okay.
Or he's just
Waste
not
of time.
responding to me.
To be fair, I don't know anyone that responds in Bandcamp.
Yeah.
So yeah, who are you? Why are you?
Uh,
What's your deal, man?
I'm Val from the W's. I don't know. I am a almost 50-year-old man who lives in Portland, Oregon. Used to be in the band the W's a long time ago. Apparently, the fourth and the last is turning 25 this year. Thanks,
does that
Josh,
feel?
for telling me that.
It most certainly is.
But yeah, I just I don't know. What else do you want to know about me?
Okay, let's try this. So our show is very specifically about
Yeah.
Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. And so I always like to start out with an origin story. So I want to know a little bit about your childhood and specifically in terms of music. What did you grow up listening to? Because for the three of us, it was pretty strict, Christian music.
Yeah.
And so did you only listen to Christian music growing up?
No, I did not listen to any Christian music at all. The only song that was kind of Christian that we listened to was this song called "The Lord's Prayer" by Sister Janet Mead. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I think it's from the 70s. My
Not.
dad had it
I
on
am
45,
not.
and you would play. It was just the song, the Our Father prayer, just sung to kind of 70s rock.
Nice.
So
Okay.
Sister Janet Mead, look that up, and
Sister Janet Mead.
yeah.
Will do.
Yeah, but so no, I was, my parents were both Roman Catholic. I was raised Roman Catholic, did First Communion, Confirmation, everything.
Cool.
We listened to a lot of ABBA and Neil Diamond at my house.
Nice. Yes.
Growing up. Yeah. So when I got into high school, I started listening to some other stuff. I was into kind of the late 80s, early 90s alternative stuff, like B-52s, Finding Cannibals. I listened to They Might Be Giants a ton. They were my favorite band ever. And
Nice.
I was acquainted with them my junior year of high school. And so heard Flood on a band trip. Somebody loaned me the tape. I listened to it the whole way up to, wherever we were going on the bus, and just fell in love. And They Might Be Giants have been my favorite band ever since. So
They're a good band to be a favorite band. I have to say, having a 2-year-old daughter, I think my current favorite They Might Be Giant song is the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song.
Yep. Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot Dog, I have heard that one. It's not really on my playlists I make.
It's
for the
not?
Giants,
It's not in your
but
top
no.
10?
Wow,
It doesn't make
that's
your top
strange.
10?
Wow.
That's fine though.
So you were the cool guy in the band that didn't have like that were like, "Oh, you guys listen to Christian music?"
I don't know if that's necessarily the cool guy. When I got into college and I met all of them, so the first people I met were Todd, the bass player, and Andrew, who's the guitarist and vocals, and then there was this guy Zach Schultz, who was our original drummer. I met the three of them in college we all lived at Avery Lodge. It was like this co-op at Oregon State University. There was like a talent show or something, and so we're like, we're gonna form a band and we're gonna play music, and so we played a few songs. We played Jesus Loves Me, but we played it to Jimi Hendrix.
Nice.
Purple Haze, and
Nice.
That's incredible.
That one was actually in our set for a long time. We played Pup, but the song Pup, which is on the first album, but it was a way different version of Pup. Maybe we can get into that more when we go through the songs, but yeah. So we played those, and I got my friend Matt to play trombone with us, and then after that show, he was like, "Nah, I don't want to be in a band." So tough luck for Matt.
Rejected.
Yeah, and then the next year, we played a few shows. No, did we play a few shows? No, we didn't. We just we decided we were going to record or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but we all went away for the summer, came back. We got Brett, the trumpet player. Andrew met him over the summer, and then James was Andrew's roommate in college. And I had dropped out of college at this point and was just living at home, which was Albany, which was like 12 minutes from Corvallis. So I would just drive over and practice with them and stuff. And then at some point, Zach decided he was going to move to Seattle and work for Tooth and Nail Records and start like a punk band or something. And so he left, and we needed a new drummer. And we found Pete. I can't remember Pete's last name. Crap. That
Josh,
sucks.
do you know it?
I don't know it actually.
Josh is usually all of our memory.
This is some inside.
Well, he wasn't
Pete
on
wasn't
the
on
first record.
He
and
he
I don't
didn't
think
record
there's
with
much
us.
about fourth from the last W's on the internet.
We had like a demo CD that had like 7 or 8 songs on it, and Pete was on that. He played drums and sang backups. And then we got our big break to go down to California and open for Five Iron and the Echoing Green at the Scream, I think. Maybe it wasn't at the Scream. I don't remember. But anyway, Five Iron was just on their, they had just released newest album ever. And so they were touring on that, and
Nice.
Echoing Green was opening. And I don't remember why, but the opening band couldn't make it. And we knew this guy that worked at 5 Minute Rock. He was the art director, Aaron James, and he knew us. He knew some of our friends. And so he called them. He's like, "Hey, you guys still in a band?" And we drove down there. But before we went, Pete was skateboarding behind his parents' Suburban, grabbed onto it, and then they went really fast, and he fell and broke his arm. So Brian Morris stepped in.
Wait a minute. So that thing you do.
Exactly, yes, that thing you do.
Where he breaks his arm.
Yeah. And that thing you do had already come out.
W's.
No, that movie
really?
had already come out. So, like, when Brian was
used the
coming and
time
playing with
machine.
us, I was like, this is not going to end well for Pete. And it didn't, because
Hey,
Brian
guys, Pete fell down.
was really good. And, so
Much to
Brian
Pete's
became our
dismay,
drummer. And
Brian was very good.
he was probably the most talented musician he was the best at his instrument in the band, I think.
Nice.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Crazy.
so he joined the band, and that was our lineup for a long time.
Okay, so that show specifically, do you remember like how many songs did you guys have, and then how long was your set?
We had
Do you know?
we had maybe 10 songs at the most.
Cool.
Like we had most of the songs that are on Fourth from the Last. Maybe there was a couple we didn't have yet. Because we had been playing for a while already through Oregon,
Right.
like in Salem, Portland, Eugene, up and down I-5, so we played that show, and I guess we just we did really well. Everybody liked us. Frank from 5 Minute Walk Records was there, and I guess he told this story later. At some point, everybody's cleaning up, and I go into the bathroom, and there's just toilet paper everywhere. So I grab a mop or a broom or something, and I start sweeping up all the toilet paper. And Frank comes in and sees me. And then later on, he was talking about how at that show, he was like, one of your guys was just cleaning the bathroom after the show, and that really made me think they were good guys. You guys were good guys, and I was like, oh, I just saw a mess, and I've been a janitor for so long. My first thought was just clean it up. The
spit it
typical
up.
musician story: janitor, musician.
Your big break
Yeah, because I
came
cleaned
from
up toilet paper
sweeping
in the
toilet
bathroom.
paper.
Yeah. So
a little
imagine,
in life.
imagine the multiverse in which you enter that bathroom and it had courteous.
and I just go fuck it,
bathroom
and just walk away.
Yeah,
And Frank walks in and he hears
Totally
me drop the
different.
F-bomb, and he's just like,
Yeah.
these guys are
Yeah,
not
exactly.
getting signed.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
No,
guy,
exactly.
no,
You
get
might
out.
still be a janitor to this day.
I mean, probably.
That's great.
But yeah, so we got signed, and yeah.
Wow. I'm curious of like, cause I like that you mentioned playing around Oregon, because I was going to ask one, like what that scene was like in the 90s, and even just like just the decision, or if it was a decision, or if it was just like happened of like becoming a ska or like a swing band, like whatever, like
man.
what was behind that?
Yeah, so there was another ska band in Corvallis, where Oregon State was, called $10 Mike, and I had actually played in that band, like played bass and then played saxophone, and then just kind of quit. I don't know. I didn't like being in a ska band, but then I went and joined this other ska band. So, but we weren't really ska. Like, we kind of were trying to be ska at first, but then Andrew was really into like the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, who were from Eugene, and they were really riding the swing angle at that time. So a lot of our early songs, like, they're almost like direct ripoffs of Cherry Poppin' Daddy songs, and we acknowledged that a lot at the time. We were like, oh yeah, this is our whatever song, and
Right.
And Andrew was the main songwriter. He came up with most of it, so that's how kind of our sound came about, I guess. It wasn't. I don't know if it was so much a conscious effort as playing ska straight was kind of hard for him, he said, and so he just swung it because it was easier.
There you go. Yeah, I get that.
That's what he always said. So yeah, I'll take
Well,
it.
that's why Josh and I feel like we started a southern metal band for similar reasons. It's easier when you swing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can't, we're not metal enough to just go straight
to do straight blast beats.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could swing all day.
Yeah.
Nice,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
Well, and that was like obviously like the '90s was like pretty like mid '90s is pretty big heyday for ska and other ska subgenres. So
Yeah.
so it was just felt like a natural
surf music
thing to
was really
become a
big
ska
at the time
band.
too. If nobody remembers surf, okay, never mind.
I didn't know that it had a resurgence in the '90s.
Yeah, there was a couple surf bands from Portland, the Surf Trio and this other band called Satan's Pilgrims. And then there was a bunch of other surf bands that kind of were just around. Those were the two big ones, though, that were playing like at the same time as we were doing stuff. We almost considered
Nice.
writing a surf song. I still love it. I love surf music.
Josh, this is your guy. Josh is writing a
Man.
surf record too.
Oh, really?
Sure is.
I wrote a surf record. Yeah.
He did.
Josh, why do you
And
live in
it's-
Dallas,
It's
man?
underway. It's a big coastal city, It's
Yeah,
great.
okay.
Great inspiration for it.
Huge surf culture.
Yeah, you
Okay,
go out to
yeah.
Lake Tawakoni,
I did not
I
surf
go out
at
to
all.
Lake
but,
Possum, the Possum Kingdom Lake, and
is that a place?
that is a real lake around
Oh, wow.
here.
That's a real
Possum
place.
Kingdom Lake.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are there a lot of possums there?
And they all surf.
they're all There's
Surfing
there's a
possums.
literal kingdom of possums. That's why they
Literal.
named
Well, there's
it.
a lot of possums here, but I wouldn't say there's a kingdom.
They're
It's
not
more of a
affiliated
fiefdom.
with each
It's a
other.
possum fiefdom.
That's a fiefdom.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
too isolated from each other.
Probably,
They
yeah.
haven't confederated yet.
No.
What are we talking?
Possums?
Let's talk about
Yeah,
possum.
possums.
The class systems of possums,
Yeah.
guys. That's
So
what
here's
we
the
really
thing.
brought
We're
Val
gonna
here for.
we're gonna go for the next 45 minutes just about possums. It'll be Patreon exclusive, but
Yeah, perfect.
I think
We're
we'll
not
get a lot
cutting
of
it.
subscribers that way.
Hey,
Definitely.
Very cool. Okay, well, thank you for like going back. I guess we can catch back up to like, I guess getting like, was it easy to kind of get noticed in that scene, or was it just like because you were in a band, you were like,
so
it wasn't like today where
because we
everyone's
were
in
all
bands.
Christians, we weren't necessarily setting out to be a Christian band. We just played like pizza places and like parties and stuff with the other, like with that band $10 Mike I was talking about. We played parties with them and stuff. But we drew a lot of Christians because we were all Christians, and like the other guys in the bands had friends in Campus Crusade and stuff. So we would draw a ton of people just based on the fact that we were Christians. So that kind of helped us get noticed in Corvallis. And then because we had a big following, we were able to make a demo, and I guess we just kind of shopped it around and got shows in Salem, and Eugene, and then the Portland people started noticing us, the Christian clubs up in Portland, and started having us play. Like we opened for Value Pack one time. We thought that was kind of big. We opened for Goaty Hook.
Oh, nice.
In Portland. Yeah. So
Tell me about Christian clubs.
I had the same thought.
there was
This
this
feels like an
one in
oxymoron.
Portland called The Push when I was first getting into like Christian music, I guess, and MXPX
Okay.
would play there a lot. I don't remember the name of the guy that ran it, but he had a festival called Tom Fest that he would that happened in Skamania County, which is
Know it.
just a little ways east of here.
I've always thought, how come they don't have a ska festival there?
Yeah,
In
that's
Ska- I mean,
the
I
perfect
know,
place.
I know.
It's begging for it.
There was a ska comp where the cover was two people on the side of the road with a broken down moped and that entering Skamania
that's
County
nice.
sign or
That's
something.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good for them.
Yeah. I think it was like a Pacific Northwest comp or something, but
Commit to the bit.
yeah.
I'm glad someone did it.
Yeah. I know. It was like begging. Yeah.
So I want to know really quick. I want to backtrack just a little bit. I want to get
Yeah.
a little bit nerdy. So y'all's demo, how did y'all record that? Did you guys? So you said you went to a studio.
So
what was the process of
The
that?
studio we went to was the college radio station KBVR had
Cool.
had like a live studio, and so our demos were just us playing live
Oh, sweet.
until we had a good take, and then we would keep that and use that for the track on the demo or whatever, you know.
Nice.
We had a few CDs, and then we'd all go home and like just record as many cassettes as we could, and
there
go
you
to
go.
Kinko's, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but you just photocopy everything. You'd make all the sleeves for the cassettes and put them in there, and sell those at shows for like I don't even remember how much, but we called that 7th grade memories, I think was the name of our demo. So
Oh, cool.
on
Nice.
tape,
And it
yeah.
was it all songs that ended up making Fourth from the Last, or were there any?
No,
like,
there was a
didn't
bunch
make
of
it?
covers on it, like that.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Loves Me. There's this song. I don't remember what the actual name of it was, but we just called it Lori. Andrew's girlfriend at the time, Lori, and his wife. He sang it like about her. And it was from some musical, so I don't remember if it was actually called Lori in the musical or what. But we did that, and then we also did a cover of Chick Magnet
Nice.
that our
Nice.
drummer Zach sang, and then he left, and we just kept it on the demo anyway. So yeah. But yeah, and then there was there was a few of the songs like King of Polyester. We had the Devil Song. What else? Hooey. We had that one.
Nice.
And Flower Tattoo. We've been doing forever. So yeah.
Man, this is so cool.
Josh, are you so excited right now?
This
I can
is
tell
sweet.
when Josh when Josh
I'm
does
just like,
that
I don't know
face,
where do I go next? Like, I don't know. I
He's stunned.
want to hear so
Stunned
much
into
stuff.
ecstasy.
I'm trying to like keep it organized, being like, okay, what's the next logical thing we go from here? But this is all.
Buddy, we already talked
Very
about
interesting
possums. You can
stuff.
go wherever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Whatever you know. You want to go to
Possum
Coyotes
Kingdom
next?
has opened the gates to whatever we want to talk about. Oh man, cool. Okay, I guess the last thing is that I want to hear. I guess it's like how you started playing music and what did you start with and what do you consider your main instruments?
Oh
You
yeah.
started playing
So
bass.
I played clarinet. From like the time I was 11, 6th grade, I think I started playing that through high school. In my last year of high school, I joined the jazz band and played tenor sax. And then I went to college, and I kept playing clarinet, like in the symphonic band and the OSU marching band.
Sweet.
That's probably the instrument I was best at for a long time was clarinet.
So I'm not super familiar with woodwinds and brass and stuff. Is it a pretty easy transition from clarinet to tenor sax? Or
Yes,
is it a totally
it's in the
different
exact same
instrument?
key. They're both
cool.
in the key of B flat, so it was like a straight
great.
across
cool.
transition. Yeah. So the tenor sax I played was like for the high school's tenor sax. So I didn't have one at first. And I got this alto sax from my cousin. And so I was in the beginning of the band, we had 2 alto saxes and trumpet. And so at some point we were like, we're doing well enough. We've got some money. We should go rent a tenor sax. And
Right.
and then I just played that. We rented it from this shop in town, Grace Wins Music. Yeah, and then we added tenor sax, and that was
cool.
pretty early on. But yeah, we were like, we need to be serious. We can't just have 2 altos. That's weird.
yeah,
No.
that's quit messing around, guys.
Somebody
Yeah.
has to do the tenor.
Well, I think that's cool because I think that already separates you guys from like other ska bands because the traditional ska formula is what trumpet, trombone, and sax, and you have trumpet and then like alto, tenor, and then you're doing clarinet. Were you mainly doing tenor sax or clarinet?
I was mainly doing tenor. I played tenor all the time in the band, and I would just play clarinet on like as an extra track on some songs. Just like one song on the first album, I think, and maybe a couple on the second album. So not a ton of clarinet in there, but.
And another nerdy instrument question regarding sax. What is the most challenging component jumping from tenor to alto or vice versa?
So
What's
the
the
hardest
biggest
part
difference?
was playing the really low notes because your armature, it just has to be so much stronger to be able to play those low notes. And so
Right.
like at first, I had trouble reaching some of the low notes, and like Andrew had written this horn line for the Hui song, and it was super low. And so for a long time I was just like, I fucking hate this song. I can't play this part. Yeah, but eventually I got good enough at it that I could play all the low notes. So yeah, that was the hardest part for me, at least.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, actually, weirdly, I just tracked. I helped engineer and produce my brother-in-law's record, and he plays sax. So he and a buddy of his from his jazz band days in college played trombone, trumpet, and alto sax between the two of them. They like kind of jumped around, and like it seemed like those lower register notes were really like tricky.
Yeah,
and he hadn't played in a while too, so it was like he was trying to like get back in the groove.
Yeah, it's hard when you haven't played in a while. So yeah, like I haven't picked up my tenor in forever, and when I pick it up, it's like I could play like maybe 5 notes in the middle range, and then it's like after that I just have to really struggle to make it get sound out of it. So
dig deep.
Yeah. But the first time I played in a band, I was playing bass guitar in that band $10 Mike I was talking about, and I had a friend that played guitar, and he wanted to start a ska band, and so I went and bought a bass guitar from some guy in Corvallis, and I just kind of taught myself. So I was terrible. We had some other people in the band that were good, and one of the guys could get us shows, so that band played some shows. And then at some point, like, well, we can get a real bass player, and you could play sax. And so I played sax like for one practice, and I was like, I don't know, guys, and I just wasn't feeling it in that band anymore. I don't know. I kind of quit, and I struggle with some mental health issues like depression and anxiety. And so that was kind of part of me like backing out of that band, was just being anxious with so many other people in the band that I didn't know at the time. It made me feel just, and I didn't even know at the time that I was dealing with those kind of things. But looking back now, it's like, oh, that's why I flaked out on that band. So, yeah.
And then you feel like you gelled with the W's folks?
Yeah, because we all lived together in college at this place, Avery Lodge. So, we were living together. So the guitarist and $10 Mike, Eric, he also lived at Avery Lodge. So I knew him, but it was the other people in the band that I didn't really know that just made me feel. One of them is my brother-in-law now, so I know him really well now. But at the time, I barely knew him. So yeah. But yeah, and actually, this guy Eric, he was the guy that came up with the name the W's. He went around calling Christians W's because we were wusses. Because a lot of the Christians at college wouldn't drink and stuff, and do all that kind of stuff. And so our original name was Dog Trout, which Zach, the drummer that we quit and moved to Seattle,
no way.
He always dreamed of having a band called Dog Trout because he was a missionary kid and he lived in Papua New Guinea for a long time. And I guess trout is their word for vomit. And so he was like, as a dog returned to its vomit, blah, 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 so we could be Dog Trout. And we're like, okay, whatever, that's a name. And so, we were playing shows, and we played a show with $10 Mike, and Eric made posters, and instead of putting Dog Trout on it, he put the W's really big.
Oh my God.
And so that name just kind of stuck, We're like, that's a better name than Dog Trout. I'm sorry. We're going with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Another multi-dimensional.
Exactly, yes. And what about in the verse where we were Dog Trout?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe y'all are like, in that multiverse, you're bigger than Taylor Swift is here.
I don't know that Dog Trout can be bigger than anything, but that's a nice thought.
Great name.
Yeah.
What a terribly
I'm
great
choosing
name.
to believe.
Yeah.
You have a
my
very
headcanon.
aspirational worldview. I love it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You want to believe in
That's
a
right.
world where people love the name Dog Trout.
Well,
Zach
it's
really
not so much
liked
about
it.
the name. But sure.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So here's a story that I would tell a lot in the beginning when we were getting interviewed. So this is before we got signed to 5 Minute Walk, before we had played in California. We were playing this show in Salem, and at the time in the 90s, there was a lot of skinhead activity around Salem, Oregon, and kind of up and down the valley. And they would come to shows and just kind of start fights and stuff. So we were playing this show.
Cool.
The opening band was our friend's band called Lando Calrissian, and they opened, and the skinheads are trying to start stuff, and the front man for Lando was like, he was just really good at calming everybody down and stuff like that. So he kept it pretty calm. And then we were next, and then the band after us was the Ready Men. They're a ska punk band from Eugene, mostly punk probably, but a bunch of them were Hispanic, and so the skinheads were probably there to like beef with them or something. I don't know for sure, but
Wow.
So we're playing our set, and then all of a sudden Brian breaks a drumstick, and so he throws it. Oh, if Brian was in the band, though, he must have been signed by 5 Minute Walk at that point. Anyway, Brian breaks a drumstick and he throws it out into the crowd, because that's what you do when you break a drumstick, I guess.
Right.
So I don't know if it actually hit one of the skinheads or what, one of the skinhead girls, but one of the skinhead girls comes to the front of the crowd, and she's got like blood dripping down her face and stuff. She's got the stick in her hand. And then she just starts wailing on like these two girls that were up there, and the other skinheads come up and they're beating them up, and these guys come in and they're separating them. And Andrew just kind of freaks out. He's like, I got to tune my guitar. And he runs off and he's like tuning his guitar in the corner. But Brian and Todd just kept playing. So I just start kind of soloing, just like improvising over that. For like, I don't know, I think we were in the middle of King of Polyester or something, but that was scary. And we finished our set, and the promoter just comes over and gets us like, okay, you guys go over to the side room and just hide here, because the skinheads are going to kill you if you don't do that. So, so we go in there, and we're in there with the girls that got beat up, and one of them's like, she was beat up pretty bad. And so we're like, here's a free t-shirt. We're sorry. We felt awful, And then the skinheads were out back trying to pick a fight with the Ready Men, and the Ready Men were like, yeah, we hate skinheads. Let's go. And so the promoter had called the cops or whatever. And yeah, it was a crazy, crazy night.
That is
yeah.
insane.
That was Salem at the time.
That's so crazy. So, how did you get involved with Larry Boy?
Solid pivot. Solid pivot.
Well, it's just funny because you don't really think about like bands you listen to. At least for me, I don't really think about like bands I listen to that specifically have things like that are like associated with children's media.
Yeah,
having stories about fucking skinheads.
We almost got snuffed out by some skinheads one night.
Yeah. That's punk as fuck, dude.
That's yeah. That was the scene then. So yeah, you wanted to know about the scene in Oregon at the time. There was
totally.
there were skinheads who would start fights.
They're like, let's go to the ska show and start a fight, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. They never came to the Christian
wild.
shows, or the shows at the Christian clubs. Basically it was like, I think Christian promoters, Christian clubs is just like in a church basement or whatever, kind of thing. So
Right.
there was a lot of that in the 90s.
Well, and I feel like a lot of the people going to those shows are like 14.
Yeah, there's a lot of little kids, little
All ages.
young people, teenagers. Yeah.
The youngins.
Oh yeah, so I listened to your podcast where you went over the Larry Boy soundtrack, and
Awesome.
you were talking about, I wonder if they played that song live, and
Oh yeah.
I don't know how this exists, but there's a video of us performing that song live at Creation Fest in Illinois, and there's a giant
Incredible.
Bob and Larry on stage with us, and Dennis was playing trombone, and Bob and Larry just dancing around their suits, and there's Spanish subtitles for the whole thing. I sent a link to Josh because I was like, "You wonder if we played it live." Here's a copy of it.
That's
You gotta
Yeah,
send that to
amazing.
us.
yeah,
It's
it's
for my own
So weird.
edification.
yeah. So we did play it live a lot, yeah, and it probably did send us down a different route of kids really
Right.
liking our music, but
Well, yeah, this is great because we talked about this a lot with like Newsboys stuff because of like when Breakfast hit, and like we all loved the Newsboys when we were kids, and it's like Kylan's on the Newsboys. So it's like, is it weird when you're like a serious band? Like maybe you guys were maybe a little more serious than the Newsboys.
we were
I don't
not
know.
serious.
Well, you're trying to be a professional
like
band. Like you're making your
professional
living.
Yeah, we're
doing-
professional, yes. Yeah.
And like you're and you're not trying to go out of your way to write kids music, but then like for the Newsboys, they go and they're like half the crowd is a bunch of 8 and 9-year-olds. Like, is that like what was that like? I guess for
Oh, yeah.
for y'all if
I
y'all
mean,
experienced that. Yeah,
We just wrote what we wrote, and we were always pretty silly. anyway. Like we didn't take ourselves too seriously, and we weren't afraid to be the butt of a joke on stage or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, we're just goofy, and so I mean, I think that kind of fits with kids' music. Like my kids are really old now, but when they were little, yeah, we would see we would see kids musicians, and they were always goofy and stuff. So
Just silly.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
it also lends up with the ethos of ska too, just in general. Like
yeah,
the music sort of lends itself to silliness,
younger
and then
crowd
swing
base,
is
yeah.
actually kind of more classy. Like I associate that with like sort
yeah,
of
we weren't
the
like
Rat Pack.
we weren't exactly
resurgence of, like,
swing, but
20s.
yeah, we were trying to be
But so
swing.
y'all
but,
are like
yeah.
towing the line between those two things. So
Yeah,
you're
we
like
were-
silly but classy.
We were
Silly but
swingabilly.
classy.
So
Swingabilly. There you go.
Yes.
Boom.
Hashtag swingabilly.
yep,
Hashtag
Got
This
it
is
in
that whole
there.
episode. Yeah.
Nice.
Damn, he did. What a wild world we live in.
Yeah.
Kylan, where do we
so
go
funny.
from here?
I know you have a game.
How do we disappear?
Oh yeah, I want to play a game.
I do have
play
a
a game.
game. Okay, so Kylan is normally our game master, but he is busy in the middle of a move, and I took the liberty. I had an idea pop in my head, and I just ran with it. So I have a game. If you guys would like to play a game,
Yes.
Would love to play a game, please.
all right,
Josh.
all right.
Yes.
I bet you can't guess what the category or the name of the game is. It is going to be called. The game is called Fourth from the Last. Surprise, surprise. All right. So I have 5 questions. Each have 4 multiple choice answers. I'm going to tell you a category, and you're going to have to tell me what is the correct answer that it is fourth from the last from.
Oh.
Okay.
So I'm really trying to dive into, kind of lean into my Kylan energy with this. So
Yes.
I'm really proud.
It's no
Kylan.
MXP
I can't
sex,
wait.
but
It's no
yeah.
MXP sex. but-
Is anything on the planet?
that is the most unhinged thing I've ever done on the podcast. Val, I don't know if we did.
I did listen to that episode. Yeah, Tyler's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
That
Yeah.
is straight
Yeah,
up.
Tyler
the
was
most
great.
I love that he
unhinged
brought up
thing
the
I've ever
W's and he's like, "Yeah, I wasn't into those guys."
done. I know.
I know. I love that you listened to that one, and that was one of the ones we talked about.
I was like, I want to hear what one of these album podcasts sound like. And I'm like, oh, I love Life in General. I'll listen to this one. And you're just going along, and then he's just like, yeah, I didn't like those guys. And I was like,
I
oh,
know.
thanks.
Yeah.
Noted.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Take it back, Tyler. Take it
Yeah.
back.
Whatever. I mean, yeah.
You've been
Not
called
everyone
out,
has to like
Tyler.
us.
That's true. Okay, so it's no MXP sex, but it's fourth from the last. All right, so are you guys ready?
Yes.
So ready.
My first question is fourth from The Last of Us. So the HBO show Last of Us recently came out, and I'm going to name you 4 episode titles, and you have to tell me which episode title was the fourth from the last episode.
Fourth from the last episode. Okay.
Yes.
I can do this.
All right.
This
all right.
is such a perfect question.
First option, so A is When We Are in Need. B is Endure and Survive. C is Kin. And D is Left Behind. Which one of these is the fourth from the last episode?
I think it's B.
Endure and Survive.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No. Was it Kin? No.
I think it's Kin.
When We
I'm
Are
gonna
in
say
Need.
think it's Kin.
Endure and Survive. Kin and
Well,
Left
I'm trying
Behind.
to think. Wait, is Kin the name of?
How many people
Okay.
actually watched it? How many of y'all
Can
saw
we,
it?
I watched
can
all
we
of it.
spoil things?
Um,
Seen it? No, I haven't
Or
watched it yet.
spoilers.
Who hasn't watched it?
I haven't watched it yet, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I think Kylan's right. I think it might be Kin.
I also think it's Kin.
I
the
think
fifth
it's because
episode.
there were. Yeah. Let's go with Kin, man.
Wow. I thought this was going to be a shot in the dark question, but y'all are all right.
Are
It
you
is
serious?
Kin. It is
Yeah.
Kin. Wow. And
'Cause I
Josh, you
think it's
can't
their
ask
brother.
me. You can't ask
exactly.
me a pop culture.
The guy with his little brother. Yeah. That's what I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the brother.
dang.
You can't
I was-
ask me a pop culture question, dude.
All right. I was trying to think of ones that
That was really good, though.
That was
my
a
But
good.
he has
Yeah.
to try to stump you. You know,
Thanks.
like
Yeah,
otherwise.
well, all my questions, I feel
the
like I was
point?
trying to get ones that would be. Let's see. I'm gonna do Kylan.
Well, we've all watched The
I'll
Last
get
of Us,
one
so
point.
you.
I'm trying. All of these, I'm trying to get something that is on equal footing for all y'all. 'Cause-
Right.
Okay, so you guys all did really great on this one. I don't know if you're gonna do really great on this next one.
Okay.
The name of this question is fourth from The Last One Alive, which is a Demon Hunter song. So you're going to tell me what is the fourth from the last Demon Hunter record. And I'm, for the record out there, for everyone listening, I'm not counting Songs of Death and Resurrection since it's re-recordings. So
Okay.
Options are, we're doing proper studio original albums here.
Of course.
Okay. Option A is Extremist. B is Peace. C is War. And D is Outlive.
Can you go through those all one more time?
Yes. Extremist, Peace, War, and Outlive.
I'm gonna go with C.
War?
Yeah, I'm
gonna
going
go
War.
That's what you do on multiple choice when you don't know
There
the
you
answer.
go, yeah.
I'm going to go with B. I'm going to go with Peace.
Okay, none
War
of y'all
Peace.
are right. It is Outlive, which came out in 2017. All right.
I don't even know
Sorry,
who that
guys.
band
Stumped
is.
us.
So.
Exactly. I'm trying to get ones of all these. Okay. All right. Cool. Good. Next
Trying to
question.
think of other last things. I'm trying to game the game right now.
No. You cannot do it, Kylan. This one you might be ready for. This one. Fourth from The Last of the Mohicans. We're gonna go
Oh, yes.
Daniel Day-Lewis movies.
Okay.
What is
Oh, okay.
Daniel
Incredible.
Day-Lewis's fourth from the last Daniel
newest.
Day-Lewis movie? Yes.
Okay.
So, A, There Will Be Blood. B, Gangs of New York. C, Ballad of Jack and Rose. And D, 9.
I'm going There Will Be Blood.
The newest. I might go There Will Be Blood. No, it's not There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood, Gangs of New York, Ballad of Jack and Rose, or 9.
I'm gonna go Gangs of New York, but I'm not.
I think it's
Feeling
either Gangs
comfortable
of
with
New York
that.
or 9. I'm trying to think. I think after Gangs of New York, I think 9 is after Gangs of New York, but then there's 9. There Will Be Blood, Phantom.
I'm gonna put a
Thread,
time
and
mode
I
on this
think
for
there's one
Kylan.
more. Okay, I'm gonna say Gangs of New York as well.
Val, you're saying Gangs of New York?
Yeah.
And TJ, you're saying There Will Be Blood?
Mm-hmm.
TJ, you're correct. It is There Will Be Blood.
Dang,
Because
okay,
he
what
doesn't
are-
work
Gangs of
that
New York
much.
was...
I know. Well, Gangs of New York was
It's very
before.
particular.
Yeah, Gangs
So
of
what
New
are
York was
his-
2002.
What are his last 4 movies?
So it's Gangs of New York, Ballad of Jack and Rose, There Will Be Blood,
Blood.
9, and then Lincoln and Phantom Thread.
Lincoln. I forgot about Lincoln.
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 Yep.
Yep. Okay.
All right, that was a good question.
Thank you. All right, this one is fourth from The Last, The Lost, The Least, which is a Reliant K song. So we're going to be fourth from the last of the newest member of Reliant K. And
Newest
for
member?
everyone else, the newest member to join the band. So we're not counting Tom Brayfogle, since he, to my knowledge, has never appeared in any band pictures, like official pictures of the band. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And also, I
Phoebe
don't know
Hawkins.
who that is.
Which
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's a name I haven't heard until this moment.
I don't
so-
think he's on. Yeah, I don't think he's ever officially a member. So correct me if I'm wrong, Danny.
C. Daniel
Please.
Day-Lewis.
See Daniel Day-Lewis. All right. Options
Yes.
are Ethan Luck, John Warren, John Schneck, or Dave Douglas.
Ethan Luck. I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm just gonna say
It's
it.
not Dave Douglas. I'm gonna say John Schneck.
Okay.
It's obviously not Dave. Can you read the names again, Josh?
Ethan Luck, John Warren, John Schneck, and Dave
Might be
Douglas.
John Warren. I'm gonna say Schneck.
You're saying Schneck? Okay.
I'm going
Val
Warren.
says Ethan. You're going Warren. It actually is Dave Douglas, guys.
Oh my
They
God.
have not had
Fuck
that
me.
many people join. Dave Douglas joined in
Seriously?
2000, and he's
Right.
the fourth from the last person to join officially.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We're doing so bad at this game.
I thought
It's
there were
just so
so many
bad.
new members that I just
Yeah.
didn't know about.
No.
I underestimated.
Yeah, and I'm going off
Or
of official
overestimated,
like
I guess.
band members, so there's probably some gray area where people can argue with me on this, but this is my
Yeah,
will
Danny's
argue with
yelling at the
I
podcast
know,
right
Danny. Add
Is
us on
Ethan Luck
Twitter,
an
Danny.
official band
now.
member?
Sorry, Danny.
He definitely was for
He was?
a while.
Okay.
And he played on their tour last
I know
year,
he played on
so-
tour with them. Was he on an album?
Yeah, he was on a couple albums.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All right, so leading into our last question, TJ has 2 points, and Val and Kylan have 1 point.
God.
So TJ, this could tie it up, or
killing
you
it.
could kill it. This
What
is your
happens if we
category,
tie?
TJ.
Do you have a tiebreaker?
Sudden,
or is that just the
I
end?
don't.
We
We
just
all just
fizzle
win.
out.
Yeah,
That's fine.
fizzle out. I need TJ to win, so there's no
Okay.
ties. Okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
I know he'll do really good in this category. This is fourth from the last song, which is a Nicholas Sparks book. So we're going to do the fourth from the last book Nicholas Sparks wrote.
Okay.
Options are A, 2 by 2, B, Every Breath, C, The Return, and D, The Wish.
D. The Wish.
Okay.
Guys, I'm a big Nicholas Sparks guy.
Yeah, he knows.
Clearly.
I've been trying to pivot this into a Nicholas
You
Sparks
didn't hesitate
podcast.
for a second on that, man.
I'll go with that too. I'll go with The Wish because that's a new Disney movie too. So
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm going to go Every Breath.
All right. TJ, that is correct. Oh my god! You win the game 3-1.
Kylan, I trusted you.
I know you should not. You
TJ
should never
is a
trust me.
big Nicholas Sparks fan. Busted.
Complete guess.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That was
guys.
good.
That was
Yeah, thanks.
fourth from the
Give you a round
last.
of applause. That was a very good game, Josh.
Thank you.
We need to utilize that for one of our trivia nights, I feel like.
I
Josh,
was like,
the
do we
fourth
save
from
this
the
for
last.
trivia or?
And the last shall be first because that game ruled.
I was trying to think of like
Thanks.
fourth
TJ.
from the last Jedi. I was hoping there was going to be a Star
Oh.
Wars.
That would have been good. That would have
Question.
been good.
I might have been
I
good
was-
at that one.
I was trying to run the gamut of like movies, books, music,
Yeah.
thing, but that would've-
Nicholas
that would've
Sparks
been
to
really good. Nicholas
Daniel Day-Lewis to Demon Hunter. Yeah, okay. I get that is some real Kylan energy. I
I
love it.
was
I'm
trying,
job.
I was trying.
here for
Nailed it.
Well, Val, I'm sorry we both lost the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, but you guys are both going to be ejected for losing.
Yep.
So it's just
All
going to
right,
be me and
bye.
TJ talking about the record. So
Yep.
Okay. It's you and TJ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
Just
Val,
the two of us.
typically what happens is if someone loses the game, then they have to take my place on the podcast moving forward. So good luck.
No thanks. I mean, not that I don't
Turned
want to be on
down.
your podcast. I just don't want to be on any podcast
I get
right now.
I get it. Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
I get that.
So, nothing against you guys.
So should we transition into the record?
Let's
we
do
into
I
it.
would
that?
love to.
Cool. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will listen to Fourth from the Last with Val from the band. This is a first for us. We're super excited to actually talk about an album with someone that recorded said album.
I'm excited to hear you guys say it flops.
Woo!
Hey Jammers, Kylan here, interrupting this very awesome episode to talk briefly about our sponsor, CollideRecords.com. Now, I don't have anything specific to highlight this week, but I just want to say, if you haven't gone to CollideRecords.com, why not? If you're listening to this show, they are the perfect place to go. As you know, here at CJN, we are huge fans of physical media. They have vinyl, they have CDs, they have CCM, they have 90s, they have 2000s. What else could you want if you're a fan of this show? And check this out. At checkout, if you type in promo code ChurchJamsNow, you will get not 10%, not 15%. You will get 20% off your first purchase. Once again, promo code ChurchJamsNow at checkout for 20% off your first purchase at CollideRecords.com. All right, that's all I got. Let's get back to the show. And we're back. I hope you enjoyed those sweet dulcet tones of us talking about ads and stuff. That was smoother in my head. It was a lot smoother in my head.
It was beautiful.
Welcome
man.
back. Thanks. So, we're doing things a little bit differently. It has not been a week since we recorded part A, but we have listened to this record and we're going to go through it track by track. But before we do that, Josh, I bet you have some sweet research for us.
I do. I'm so excited to share it. It's great. I don't have to talk about the origin of the career of the band because we already did that with Val, and I wasn't going to be like, did you guys know the W's were formed? And I'm just going to tell it to
You
Val,
should, though.
the history of
You
his
should
own
just- you
band.
should-
Tell
Go for
him
it.
his own life.
You should. I like that
Yeah.
bit. I think you
No,
should just do the
I'm
research like you normally do.
Definitely not going to do that because I didn't do it because I knew Val was going to be here. But I am going to mention all the members and as they are credited in Fourth from the Last because you guys got some fun little nicknames for this record.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Andrew Shar. Is it Shar?
Yeah.
Andrew Shar, a.k.a. Little A, on vocals and guitar. Brett Barker,
Right.
a.k.a. Smiley, on trumpet. James Carter, a.k.a. Yabo, on alto sax and BGVs. Our very own Val Hellman, a.k.a. Valentino. That's what we're going to call you from now on. On tenor sax and clarinet. This was my favorite one. Todd Gruner, a.k.a. Rod W. Todd went from Todd to Rod.
Todd to Rod.
I don't know why.
A lateral move.
I love that.
I don't know
Because
if
it-
you
it
know
rhymed.
why.
Crazy.
Okay.
Pete just started calling him Todd the Rod at one point, and it stuck.
A lateral move, a lateral naming. That's good, TJ. He's playing bass, and Brian Morris, a.k.a. Nigel, is playing drums. Why Nigel, too? That's a good one.
So
That's a
I
great
remember
name.
most of those nicknames except for Brett's. I do not remember calling him Smiley. I forgot about
So
that.
I want to know, can we talk about the origin of those nicknames a little bit? Is that just like
Well,
young dudes
no, that's
being
fine,
silly?
yeah.
Or do you...
Andrew was really little. I don't know if you ever saw pictures of us, but he was really little, and I think I'm gonna go back to Eric, the guy from $10 Mike. I think he started calling Andrew Little A at some point, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, he's little," where we lived. So
Bet he
it
loved
just,
Ha 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 ha. Observational humor.
I don't know that Andrew loved it that much, but yeah,
That's funny. I love
yeah. And then I don't know where Brett got his nickname from. I don't remember that. James Yabo was a character in Gleaming the Cube, I think, like a skateboard mechanic.
Okay.
And James loved to skate.
Oh,
that. Okay.
I don't know why.
there you go.
I know we called Brian Nigel, but I don't remember why. If it was a Spinal Tap reference or something, I don't remember.
Nice.
And I think my name
That's
is
it.
pretty. Valentino is just like the Italianized version
It's
of my
the,
German
the
name.
classy
so,
swing version of it. Yeah.
It's classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swing bell.
yeah.
Classy.
Sweet.
All right. I'll talk about the record a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Fourth from the Last, which we're covering for its 25th anniversary, was released on July 28th, 1998. This episode is going to come out right around that time to celebrate its 25 years proper. This was first of 2 LPs by the W's, released on 5 Minute Walk and Cerebellum Records as well. Producer was Masaki Liu, I believe. And he produced, I think, basically everything Five Iron did, from upbeats and beatdowns to The End Is Near and The End Is Here. Basically everything they did in the first part of their career.
Cool.
He also did all 3 Brave Saint Saturn records, so Reese worked with him for those. And for his Roper record, Brace Yourself for the Mediocre.
Nice.
And the W's also tracked with him for Trouble with X. Unless Val corrects me on that. So, it's really scary, like, saying facts about a band when Val's like, that's not right.
Nope, you got it all right so far.
Perfect.
Incorrect.
Perfect. I normally talk about charts. I didn't find any charting for this one for Billboard 200 or Billboard Christian. And we can talk about this now or later, but I am curious what the response was like to y'all when the record came out and how y'all felt about it.
It charted.
and-
I've got the Billboard magazine still because my mom
Oh,
saved them all.
sweet.
It charted like, I want to say 41 or something when it came out.
Oh, nice.
On 200?
In like the 200, yeah. And then in the Christian, it was like
Whoa.
near the top. I don't remember if it was like number 1 or number 2 or 5 or something. It was in the top 5, I think. And it stayed in the Billboards
incredible.
for quite a few. Because I have like 4 or 5 different of those Billboard magazines in my garage. So
That's
Nice.
awesome.
yeah.
Look at that. We should just always have a member of the band on whenever we're talking about
Yeah.
a record.
Can we always do
This
this?
is so much
I know.
better. Yeah,
it
this
is so
great.
much better.
It's not on Spotify. I don't have any Spotify stats. So my question is, how do we make it happen to get on Spotify, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not on Spotify. It used to be. I think there's another band called The W's with an apostrophe S. And I think maybe because they're active or something, they took our spot and they get to have music on streaming services. Because, yeah, I was looking, I was like, oh, I need to listen to the album. And I couldn't find a CD at the time. And so I was looking online and I couldn't find it on Spotify or Amazon Music or iTunes or anything. So I was like, oh, there's this other band. Maybe we just don't get to be
so
on.
Weird.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, they should have their thing figured out better than that. That's not right.
I don't know if that's what's happening.
Injustice.
That's me speculating. But I don't know. 'Cause,
Sure.
yeah, I know it used to be on Spotify.
Weird.
But-
Well,
Bummer.
for people that want to listen along, guys, you can get the CD on eBay.
Go get it.
Go buy it. Go buy
I got
it.
a box
I'm
full
sure
of
there's
cassettes
lots
in
of
my
other
garage,
places.
too.
There you
That's
go.
amazing. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. If people want to get a hand on one of your cassettes, Val, how do they reach out to you? How do they get one?
ValentinosCassettes.com.
I
The
I don't want
classiest
to just
cassettes around.
give out my email to anyone, but can they contact you guys through the
yeah,
podcast?
yeah. We'll,
Yeah,
we'll pass
yeah.
it. We'll pass them on.
Hit us up.
connect you.
We'll
Okay.
vet. We'll make sure it's not like crazy people.
We're the third party that they
True
won't.
fans.
we'll,
Yeah,
we'll be
yeah.
the
Only
broker.
true fans.
We'll
You guys
only
are
take
already, you know,
50%. We'll only
You
take
guys are already a
50%.
point online, so yeah. I mean, I offered on Facebook to my friends and stuff. I'm like, does anybody want one of these tapes? Just give me your address and I'll mail it to you. And my cousin
amazing.
is the only person that was like, yeah, here's my address. So I sent him the tapes, and then
Nice.
and then Josh was like, oh, I've been looking for these on cassette, and I'm like, here's a box full of crap, and I just sent him
That was awesome.
tapes and stickers and a poster and stuff, and yeah.
Let me tell you, it was
Yeah, he
like
showed us.
it was like Christmas for Josh. He was so
Swag
excited,
day, man.
I'm just happy
So
to like
rad.
it's not just sitting on a shelf in my garage anymore, you know?
Right.
It's sitting on
'Cause,
my
yeah, 'cause
shelf
it was-
now. In the
Nothing was
closet.
happening with any of it, so yeah. Yeah, it's on your shelf now.
Yeah.
Good. It moves shelves.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically everything I got.
Sweet. Well, let's get into the record then. So we're going to start. I hope you guys keep an open mind because we're going to start with track number 1, Open Minded.
Hey, I thought you'd be better. Oh, I guess I misunderstood. Hey, you're very open-minded. You're very open-minded.
I love this opening. This is such a good... You guys know how I feel about album openers.
And intros.
And intros. It's such a good intro, man.
Thanks.
It is great.
Probably wasn't my
Starts
choice.
with just that guitar. That guitar tone is amazing. And then when those drums, the snare sound on those drums is like, you know exactly what you're getting in for.
It's true.
Thank you, Misaki.
Yeah.
So good.
Great job. Dialed in those tones.
It's really good. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
So this song has the word "suck" in it, which got
Yes,
us
it does.
banned from a bunch of Christian
That's
bookstores.
I was gonna
Itchy.
ask what it was because that's on y'all's Wikipedia page that I got
Oh, it
pulled
is?
from a bunch of places.
Yeah, this song, and there's another song. Hui says you're gonna get your butts kicked, and so we were told because of "suck" and
Oh,
because
yeah.
of butts that this bookstore line wouldn't carry our CD. So
Nice.
they lost out, but yeah. I'm pretty sure this is a song that we wrote kind of going into the studio. Andrew kind of, came up with everything. He'd been listening to a lot of the daddies, I assume. And it was just, it's kind of a song about like the people in Corvallis and Salem and stuff that would like listen to us and they'd be like, you guys are awesome. And then they'd be like, what's up with this devil song? And we'd be like, oh, we're all Christians or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, you guys suck now. And so, like, it wasn't, I know, like, now there's a lot of, like, Christians are like, we're persecuted, and it's not,
Right,
it was
right.
never intended to be like that. I don't think, even though we were, like, signed and going to record a record, I don't think we thought, lots of people were going to listen to this song and,
Right.
and walk away from it with this idea that, whatever, it was just kind of like a very localized song in our minds.
Right.
Yeah, it was more personal. It wasn't supposed to be like an anthem for persecution.
Yeah, no, which I'm
Right.
sorry if that's the way people have taken it since then.
But I like it. It fits in with the whole ethos of like calling yourselves the W's. Like now that we have the context of where the name
Yeah.
came from, I like that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, and it seems like, at least the way I read the lyrics, is that like it's the typical, like I've heard this with a lot of other bands, like the verse 1 seems like you're too Christian for the non-Christians, and verse 2 seems like you're not Christian enough for the Christians.
Oh, that was
which
a
I
big
know like
thing
a
throughout
lot
our
of bands
career.
find themselves in. So
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of like stuck on, like you're not like
Straddling the
neither
line.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, we got in a lot of trouble in both circles. So
Well, and it's also like you had the double layer of like different religious cultures, but then you also were artists, right? And like the sort of artsy fartsy creative type is also misunderstood frequently.
yeah,
So
Right.
like multiple layers on this one song that people could relate to, whether or not they identify as any of those things.
yeah, sure.
Sorry, I'm doing my classic over analysis of the lyrics
I
here.
love it.
No,
TJ.
that's
No,
good.
it's so
I mean, like I said, I think Andrew wrote all the lyrics for this, so I know what the subject matter was, but I don't know about all the deep meanings of it. So,
Right.
Right.
but that's, I like that interpretation. Yeah.
Sweet.
Do you have any context on like the idea of making this the first track?
So I do not remember at all why this record is sequenced the way it is, or anything. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No,
25
no,
years
I mean,
ago,
it's
I
25
didn't,
years. Yeah, exactly.
I do not remember. No.
That's more than fine. It's a
Worst
great
case
opener.
scenario, we
Yeah.
could get your complete guess with no
I have
actual.
no idea, because my wife and I were listening to this the other day, and she's like, "This is a terrible opening for this album."
Oh, really?
She
What
thought we
did
should have
I
opened with one of
disagree?
the fun songs.
Oh,
So,
I love it as
yeah.
the opener. What
Well,
do you
good,
like
I'm
it as the
glad,
opener, or what would you?
I'll
put
tell her
it
she's
as the
wrong.
Yeah,
opener?
what do you think?
No,
I don't know. Like I said, it's been 25 years. It's I started listening to it, and I was like, oh, I don't know. All these songs are like really ingrained in my head too. So as soon as I start hearing them, it's like, oh yeah, I remember playing that and stuff. And I don't know, it kind of takes it out of context for me, I guess.
Right.
Right.
You're
You
in
think
too
about them
deep.
more like in relation to live,
Yes, exactly.
the
yeah, my
live
life
version
and
of the
stuff.
song?
Yeah.
right?
what did y'all open with when you would play? if you remember.
I don't remember that either. I have
No problem.
I have some set lists out in the garage. I should go look. I don't
Nice.
remember. Sorry.
That's fine.
No problem at all. I really like it as the opener. That's fun.
Me too.
So I love that this song has like some swagger to it. Like
Yes.
like you can just like snap your fingers. I bet Kylan really likes the triplet hits in the chorus.
I was gonna say that. That was my next thing I was gonna bring up.
I knew you would.
Triplet hits are the best, man. Every song should have triplets at least one part of the song.
Just like Open Minded does.
I like. Oh, it's so good. Sweet. Do we have anything else about Open Minded?
Great song. Great intro.
I'm gonna stay
true.
open-minded
All
about
right.
whatever the next track is.
You
don't know?
The next track is, of course, The Devil Is Bad.
Why don't you get it in? 'Cause I don't wanna see your face around here no more. Why don't you skiddly-doo? 'Cause this is now and now is more. 'Cause you all the devil and the devil is bad. You all the devil and the devil is bad. You all the devil and the devil is bad. You all the devil and you are bad.
Which we called the Devil Song forever, and the label was like, you can't call it that.
You can't call it the
You can't call it that.
They thought it was pro devil.
I just,
the
you
Devil
know,
Song.
it sent the wrong. I don't know. They're like, you got to call it the Devil Is Bad, and so we're like, whatever. We just want to be signed and tour, so sure.
Yeah, sure.
I think we made a
Sounds
lot of
great.
concessions because we just wanted to tour.
I get that.
Probably the right move.
Another thing about this song, this horn line was actually written by Zach, the drummer. He wrote it on guitar, and we were just like, oh, I mean, it was a little bit different. And then Brett and I kind of turned it into what it is to kind of like, I don't know, we were like doing a silly version of what he had written, and it just kind of like stuck. So yeah,
That's great.
I love that.
So how did like the dynamics? So you're saying like Andrew would write the songs. Like would he write the core of the songs? Like how would the songs come together?
so a lot of the early ones he would write, like he would come to us and he had like, you know, the guitar part and the like the vocals, a lot of the lyrics for the songs on this album, and then like I would write a lot of horn lines in the very beginning, and then Brett came along and, you know, he kind of helped me out and stuff, and then at some point Andrew was like, oh, I got an idea for horn lines now too, and Andrew started like doing more and more of writing everything. So if you ever hear a horn line and it's like really stupid simple and you're almost like, this is dumb, and that's probably one that I wrote at the time, because I didn't really know what I was doing at all back then, and I was listening to these now and I was like, oh, that's one of mine, that's dumb. Yeah.
Sometimes the simple stuff is all you need, you know?
I mean,
yeah.
I think simple can be really hooky and effective. It's economical. It's
I was coming at it from
That's it.
I really loved Real Big Fish, and I thought I really loved their horn lines, and so I was always kind of trying to emulate their horn lines. I think I don't know that I ever actually did it, but yeah, that was my goal, I think, at the time.
I can totally see it. Like I can hear the influence. I think it makes a lot of sense.
So, can I take us off on a little bit of a tangent?
I wouldn't expect
is that
anything
okay?
less. Tyler.
So, Val, are you familiar with Genius.com at all?
No, what's that?
Okay, so it's a website where people post lyrics of songs, and
Okay.
similar to like Wikipedia or something like, it's like a wiki basically. Anyone can sort of annotate interpretations or like extra context for lyrics and stuff.
Okay.
But a lot of times it's very similar to something like Yahoo Answers in that the annotations are batshit insane.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
And so there are quite a few annotations that all have the flag that they are unreviewed for this song.
Okay.
So I wanted to run some of these annotations by you and see what your opinion of some of these are.
Okay. Let's
So
go.
the very first annotation is okay, on the first line, she was walking in the garden one day. The annotation from one contributor is, this may imply Eve was a New Yorker from the phrase, "Hey, I'm walking here."
I don't think that was Andrew's intent at all.
Okay.
They can just
the
fit.
next one.
It's
Are you
too
sure?
strong of an implication to ignore.
I'm pretty
though.
sure.
Let's
I'm
all
pretty
agree
sure.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When
I
a
trust
snake when a snake slithered round her feet, the annotation is, by the imagery of this line, the snake is seen as below as the woman, which implies men, as the snake is referred to as a he, are below women.
What the fuck? What?
People on the internet
I
are
don't even know
really
if I can
reading
follow
into this.
that.
Okay,
I don't
by
think
the
anybody
imagery of
can.
the well, there's some typos in here, but let me see if I can clean it up. By the imagery of this line, the snake is seen as below the woman, and the snake is referred to as he.
Yeah, because he's the devil. I mean, in our version.
But the line implies that men are below women.
I don't think Andrew was trying to get that point across.
I don't think anyone was. I don't think.
No,
I think
no.
this person, their headcanon is more insane than Dog Trout being bigger than Taylor Swift.
Hey, it's not
Okay.
insane, man. It's aspirational.
There you go.
Okay, I just have two
make a
more,
false
and then
correlation here.
we'll move on from this. This is
Okay.
all in the first verse, though. You guys
Do
can look
they
this up
annotate the
on
whole
Genius.
song?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Is it
What?
all from
But,
the same
okay.
person?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't. Maybe. Let me see.
It's gotta be.
Most of these are all. The first one, the Eve was a New Yorker, was from Bible Enthusiast, user Bible Enthusiast, and then these
Wait
next
a
ones are
minute.
from.
Why would Eve be a New Yorker?
I
Wait a
don't
minute.
know.
Bible enthusiast?
I don't know.
And also Urban Cowboy Enthusiast.
Yeah, right. Okay, follow me right over to this tree, and I'll give you something good to eat. The annotation is: this is a sexual innuendo, as the serpent (parentheses), which is also a snake, is trying to give Eve something phallic in nature to eat.
No. No.
Insane.
No.
No.
I don't think that was our intent. I don't think that was Andrew's
No.
intent either.
I don't think that's anyone's intent. And
No.
Okay. And then the very last one, I just, like I said, if you have an opportunity to go to genius.com and look up these annotations, have quite a time. Okay. The last one is my favorite. I don't know. Are you sure? I don't think it's right. Doesn't matter. Just open your mouth and take a tasty bite. The annotation is: snakes don't take bites. They swallow. Sorry, they just swallow.
They unhinge their jaws. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's from
Oh,
Bible
wow.
Enthusiast.
Wow.
Needed to let people know that snakes don't bite; they just swallow.
Does Bible enthusiast know what he's implying, or she's implying? What
I
they are
don't
implying
know.
with that? Okay.
I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't.
Oh,
there are
sorry,
all
sorry.
implications.
One last one. Because you are the devil and the devil is bad. The chorus, the annotation, again from Bible Enthusiast. In Christian faith, the devil is bad. 1 John 3:8.
That is in my notes. I do like that the justification for like not liking the devil in this song is just the devil, like you are the devil and the devil is bad. So like, duh, like I
Yeah.
love that
A
it's
plus
that
B
simple.
equals C.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't know how this became our biggest song, but it did. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask, was this what put you all on the map?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's like two chords, right? It's just
Right,
like E and
yeah.
A or something. I don't remember. I mean, I play guitar, but I didn't play guitar on this song. So I remember Andrew telling me that it's just two chords, and yeah, none of us really understood why it was our biggest, but people loved it, so we'd always play it, and it won us a Dove Award.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Yeah. I completely forgot about this song, and then when we were listening
How
to
could
it,
you
I think I
forget about
texted
this
the
song?
guys. Well,
Wow.
I've had a lot to drink since I was 10 years old. So
Good point. Okay.
Not
and
when
then
you
this
were
song
11,
started,
so.
and I was like, I feel this song in my bones. Like this was such an integral part of my life for a very brief period of time. I'm
Such
sure
an
yours
integral
more
part
than
of my
mine,
life
but
for a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, like 3 or 4
for
years.
sure. But I was
Yeah.
like, how could I forget like this song? Like I know this whole song. You know, it's like
Yeah.
Yep.
complete like sense memory just came flooding back.
Yeah.
Well, and then like, what do you remember of like as it was taking off and like being like, oh, this song is gaining traction or getting radio play, or like watching it kind of become the song that it became? Like, can you walk us through?
There
any
were
of that?
so many. So what I do remember is that there were a lot of Christians that would come to us and be like, "Why are you writing a song about the devil? Why don't you write a song? He is Jesus and he is good, or something like that. You are the Jesus, like that kind of stuff." We get a lot of people
The
telling us
foil
that
of
kind of
it,
stuff, and then once it like got big and it was on the Christian radio and stuff. Similar type people would come to us and be like, "At first, I didn't understand this song. I don't know why you'd be singing about the devil, but now I get it. The devil is bad, and that's why you're singing this song." And I'd be like, I think Andrew just like took some Bible stories and put them in this song he wrote, and that's where it came from. I don't think I don't think we had a lot of thought behind it. It was like our first Christian song, and it was about the
Right.
devil. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aside from Jesus Loves Me, but yeah,
Purple Haze version, yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't
know.
It just kind of took off, and I mean, we had fun playing it. Like we had a lot of horn swings
Oh, yeah.
and stuff that we would do, and once we got our
That's so
wireless
catchy.
mics, it was really fun to play. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
Good run around. Is this the one that's
can
on the
see that.
WoW?
yes,
That's
this
right.
is on the WoW 1999. That yeah.
Yeah, for the
Nice.
listeners, there is a Dove Award and a platinum record sitting behind Val.
The platinum record is for the WoW 1999 comp. I'm 100% certain that none of our
Fourth
records
from the last
went
didn't go platinum.
any color. I don't think it went any colors or medals that I'm aware of. So I think it sold a couple 100,000, maybe 250. I don't know, but I don't think that's anything. So
Enough to chart on Billboard, and that's what's important.
yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and enough so that it was on a playlist that played in my youth room every Wednesday night for a long time.
Yep.
It was soundtrack for my life, man.
my
Oh, wow.
my wife is a youth pastor, basically, and we would end up doing a lot of like youth activities with our churches, and we'd go somewhere, and I would see a W's poster on the wall. And I'd just be like,
Nice.
oh, shit, and I'd be like, hopefully they don't notice me. They don't even know who I am. They're not going to make the connection with the poster. And,
Right.
I mean, most of the time, yeah, people did not recognize me at all. So it was fine.
All you have to do is walk around with like a hoodie and like big thick sunglasses. That's what most celebrities do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
And it backfires.
if you had walked around with like a bowling bag, people might be a little more apt to be like,
or those bowling shirts.
wait,
that we had.
wait.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You show up one night wearing the W shirt, like, oh man, I should have changed.
What was I thinking?
Sweet. Well, we got anything else about The Devil Is Bad?
We had a T-shirt of this song. That was orange,
Nice.
and it was before orange was a big color. I guess everybody was. It had it just said "The Devil Is Bad" on the front, and on the back it had a bowling ball falling on this little caricature of the devil. And the place where we got the T-shirts from, we were told that the guy from the Aquabats worked there. The commander. Or the
Amazing.
commander. What is he? Yeah, and he was doing a lot of art at the time, so it's possible that he drew that shirt. I liked in my head canon that's what happened, that he drew that shirt for us. But
The art is super cool. So I just found it. There's on eBay, someone is selling an
Oh, man.
extra large version of this shirt signed by all of y'all in the W's
Signed
for
so many fucking
$50.
shirts. $50?
$50, man.
That's they're not gonna get that.
That's some memorabilia right there.
I don't know, man. We got that ad budget now. I might buy it now.
We would sign shirts sometimes. This is like later on in our career. We would just kind of scribble because there'd be so many kids coming at us, and moms
Right.
would bring the shirts back to our booth and be like, "I cannot read these autographs. You need to give me a different T-shirt."
That's insane.
I know.
What?
Yeah.
Unhinged behavior.
The original Karen.
Weird flex.
Yes,
moms.
they were very Karens. Yeah, there was a lot of Karens back then.
That's great.
Crazy. That. To be fair, that is some shit my mom would pull, and I would be so embarrassed if
That's
she
a
did
real
that.
Captain
Awesome.
Savage move.
She totally would. Sweet. All right, guys, let's move on to track number 3, Frank.
Frank was a contractor, really after you. Frank was a contractor, really after you.
So my dad.
Well,
had
hold
the
on,
cas-
Josh.
Okay,
Hold on.
Okay.
What do you think I'm going to say about this song first?
We all know.
Is there a little something in here, Kylan?
Guys, this totally has some sweet bass. This the sweetest of basses. I love this intro.
Oh, it's so good.
You hear how stupid this horn line is, though?
It's great. What are you talking about?
So Todd, this is a Todd song, one that Todd wrote about his next door neighbor, Frank, who I think before we met Frank, he wrote this song. So it's a different Frank, but yeah, it was in the summer break when everybody was back home, and he came over to my house in Albany, and he's like, "I got this new song," and he played it for me, and I was like, we basically wrote the rest of it, like the horn lines and the guitar parts and stuff, and then went back to the W's, and it's like, "Hey, this is our song now."
Nice.
I think James and Brett
love
kind of
it.
wrote their own solo parts that happen in it later on, but yeah, a lot of it was Todd and I just one summer at my house.
That's sweet.
No, it's a
It's
great
good
song.
I like it. I like the story that it tells.
Yeah, well, and we haven't had, I don't think we've had a lot of we have a lot of sweet, sweet bass on this podcast, but I don't think we've really had any like walking bass lines. We don't get a lot of that, but it was a
Todd
nice
did a
change
lot
of
of
pace.
that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that on this record, and it's nice to like hear it a little bit. You're like, yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, Todd was a
Todd,
good bass
aka
player.
Rod, was
Yes, the Rod. Yeah.
laying down the
The
funk.
Rod.
Yep.
You guys are all this whole record, like there's so many like really interesting tight musical moments where you guys are just doing like weird hits and stuff and all hitting them
Thanks.
together. It's
Yeah,
so
really
good.
locked in.
Mhm.
Like
We tracked all three horns at once.
Oh, cool.
Like we didn't
Oh,
track
nice.
independently,
Shows.
so man, we had to do so many retakes because one of us would be like, "Oh, I breathed" or something, or I missed a note, and so we just had to keep redoing it, and it was long and arduous, and
I love the impact that it has because it feels live. It feels like you're at a show, but with the
Cool.
production value
Yeah.
of like the studio wizardry that you had at your
Yeah.
disposal, which is like
Yeah.
the best of both worlds. Like I love albums
yeah,
like that.
I really liked the way it sounded. I liked the sonic quality of the horns on this album, and I really like a lot of the sonic quality of a lot of this on this album. I think Masaki was a really good producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all holds up really well.
Do you know? So I have recorded quite a bit. I've never in my life recorded horns. So this is like a purely ignorant question. Like, what kind of mics do you use to mic horns? So this is open for anybody too.
Yeah, so I didn't know a ton about it at the time. I tried to hang around the studio as much as I could while everyone else was recording and just try and learn stuff. But
Yeah.
he used ribbon mics on the horns.
Okay.
I think he had gotten like these 2 ribbon mics especially for recording our horns on this album.
Okay.
And it was like they were super expensive, and it was like we couldn't go near them, like because
Right.
ribbon mics are fragile, and it was like I don't want to break those.
Yeah.
I don't, I mean,
Right.
I know a lot more about ribbon mics now, but I don't know, I don't remember like what kind they were, but I know they were
Right.
super
That's
expensive, and
just
it was like
interesting.
I don't want to breathe on those wrong because I don't have that kind of money. So,
Yeah.
Even if your album does go platinum, you'll still be in debt to.
which at the time we were like, we're gonna be lucky if we like sell enough to like make a profit kind of thing, like pay the studio,
Right.
pay the label back for the studio time. That's kind of what we were thinking, I think, and just hopefully that'll happen and we can go on. We just really wanted to tour really bad, so
Yeah.
and this was
That's
the
the
way we
dream.
saw we could do it. Yeah.
Totally.
Dang, yeah. There's a lot I want to talk about that. But this song, was one that my dad had the cassette of this when I was a kid, and I have just such a visceral memory of me and my brother playing basketball in the driveway, and my dad just playing this while he's working in the garage and whatnot. So whenever I hear this record, it's immediately synonymous with oh, my dad's working in the garage and Caleb and I are playing basketball. And so there's a lot of this record because I was I don't know, 5, 6, 7 or whatever that I don't remember, but I definitely remember Frank from back in the day. That was a song that I
Cool.
remembered, and yeah, it's a
Takes
really
you back.
fun, catchy song. And then I don't know, as listening to it now, I think it's one of the coolest musically on this record. The whole intro is super fun, and then it just changes, and I don't know what if y'all do a short measure, or there's a change where it happens, and it's
Yeah.
just so smooth, and there's a lot of fun stuff. They have the real swanky bridge with the tremolo guitar and the muted trumpet. And
I think
it's
that
a really
stuff
fun
may have
song.
come after Todd and I worked on it a lot. That was stuff that got added later by Andrew and Brett and stuff.
Right.
But yeah,
Some
the
little
whole
bells and
beginning
whistles.
part is all Todd. That was just all his idea. So
I've just been let's write a fake intro where we just do it and then we change it completely.
Yeah.
I already did. He played that for me, and I was like, "That's awesome. Let's do it." And yeah,
No, I love that. He thinks oh, I'm gonna psych him out with this one.
Yeah. You think it's got one vibe and then
and it doesn't.
bait and switch, different vibe.
Yeah.
That was a great song. I really like this one. Have we hit anyone's favorite songs yet? We always talk about favorite songs, Val. If you have a favorite song, whenever we get to it, feel free to
Okay.
shout it out.
I do have a favorite song. I think it's going to be the very last song we cover.
Ooh, all right.
We'll see. We have not
Is
hit
that-
my favorite song yet.
Is that a spoiler alert?
Okay. We'll bleep
We'll
it.
cut it if we need to for narrative
Okay.
tension.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, Josh, TJ, favorite song yet?
I was thinking one of y'all was gonna pick Frank because it's a fun one.
Frank is up there. It's up there.
As it should be.
Yeah. All right.
I
well,
think I kind of like Open Minded. I think that might be
Open-minded is your
my
favorite?
favorite. Yeah, I think
Open minded
so.
is your middle name, is what you would say.
Exactly. TJ Open Minded
It is
Smith.
Smith.
That's what they call me.
Sweet. Well, let's move on to track number 4. JP.
Hey, hey you, why don't you just grow up? Hey, hey you, why don't you just grow up?
Oh, TJ.
We're just going to call you JP from now on.
Open Minded.
Yeah, be open minded. Go with JP. This is another great intro.
Great intro.
So far, we're 4 for 4 on great intros on this
For
record.
sure.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I love doing
Valentino,
Yeah.
man.
that. I'm pretty sure that was me. Brett or I, we both did that all the time live. So, this song had quite an evolution from where it started to where it ended up on this album. Because there's a lot of like horn lines that I wrote for this originally. I also played harmonica on it in the very beginning, live.
Okay.
And we recorded a demo with harmonica. But then like we went to the studio and Saki was like, "But you're not actually a harmonica player. You're not you're not doing it the way a harmonica player would do it, which is crossbar, I guess." And he was like, and I was like, "Well, show me how to do that." And he's like, "I don't know how to do it." So we were like, "Okay, we'll drop the harmonica." And he helped us come up with like a different horn line that could replace that stuff. So he was good about pointing us in the right direction of not having us make fools of ourselves with stuff like bad harmonica playing.
You need that person with discernment in the studio.
You do,
to
and
help
that wasn't any
guide
of
you,
us.
You know?
So Saki really, helped us out a lot with that.
Man.
The other thing about this is that the main lyrics are there's this guy that lived at Avery Lodge named Jason Powell. We call him JP, and he wrote this poem, which is all these lyrics. It was like when we were kind of doing well, and Andrew and James were just sleeping all day because they'd been up all night, playing a show or whatever. And he tacked it on their door because he was like proud, but also kind of like, man, you guys are like bums right now. You're living this rock star life. And so he wrote this poem and pinned it on their door and like took it off and we're like, that's going to be a song.
Those are lyrics.
Yeah.
Great. We'll show
That's
you,
the
JP.
best.
Yeah.
And name the song after him, too.
Yeah. I mean, JP was awesome. We all love JP. And he, he was doing it like in jest, but yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good.
Right.
That's good.
He wasn't actually like
It was
mad
like a
at us or
wink.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm curious because in the booklet, the last line says, hey, Scott, why don't you just grow up?
I don't know. There was a guy,
really?
Scott Leonard, that worked at the radio station KBVR that helped us out a lot in the beginning. It would help get us shows.
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
Andrew doesn't sing it, but yeah, the last it says, hey, Scott, why don't you just grow up? It's printed the last line of the lyrics.
I don't know if we told them to write that in there or if someone at the label just put that in there. And I've never
Maybe
looked
it's
at
like a
that.
secret
I've never read all the lyrics, so I didn't know it was
Easter
there.
egg.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's a genius annotation of who Scott is. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
I'm gonna add one. I'm gonna say it's Ridley Scott.
Perfect. That makes
Scott.
the most
It's
sense.
Scott Kerr from Five Iron.
It might have been. Oh, yes. It might have been Scott Kerr. That might have been what it was.
Oh, nice.
I can't believe I didn't think of that. But yeah, that's probably what it was.
Dang, take that, Scott.
And it might have been someone at the label thinking, oh, let's poke fun at Scott and put it in there. But yeah.
I like it.
Or it was us. I don't know. 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's funny. I liked that it's coming from someone talking about y'all instead of like y'all talking about
You
someone
talking
else.
to someone else.
Yeah,
that's
that's
funny.
really great.
That's really good, especially dreaming of the W's and like getting self-referential with that. So
Yeah.
okay, cool. I'm gonna say this is my favorite song on the record.
Oh,
This is my
Nice.
favorite. Maybe it's like a cop out, but I feel like this is most like classic ska. I guess
Yes.
like more
That's what I
like
was gonna
not
say,
as
yeah.
yeah. It feels to me, I'm like this is like what should have been on like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You know, it's like which I grew up
Yes.
playing, so just like it just connects with like young Josh playing Tony Hawk. That I'm like I love this sound, and
I can imagine you playing Tony Hawk on mute and just
I
putting
had
this
to.
song on.
My mom made
yeah.
me. Yeah, there was for Tony Hawk 1, I got to listen to some of it, but then after a while, she was like, "You have to turn the music off; it's bad." So
My mom did that too, and I just didn't listen to the music. I had no idea. She's like, "What did they just say?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm doing sick
did a
kick
kickflip."
flips."
Yeah, chill out, Mom.
And then you're like, now I need to listen to this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you don't like it, but yeah, this one is just like it's so fun. It has a lot of really great parts in it. I like the horn lines. I don't know. I can't just like describe them without like just singing them.
singing
and
them.
sound
Can you
dumb.
sing them?
Yeah.
Can you please sing them, Josh?
Bum, 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 bum. And then
That's beautiful.
Todd the Rod goes the doom 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 doom. The octaves
yeah.
walk up on the bass. I love
Yeah.
Hey,
that. Like it just has like a lot of great music, and then Andrew's playing like that really like fun like punky ska. So it's like the most traditional ska, but I don't know. It's just so fun. So this is my favorite.
That's a good one.
Nice. Yeah, I
good
think
one to
it might be my
favorite.
second favorite if I had to put a second spot on
That
a
makes
list
sense
that
to
I
me.
hate making.
I know you hate making lists.
But I really like it that much.
You like it enough to put it
reminded
as number
me
2.
exactly, and it reminded me the most of like Five Iron or like Aquabats or something, which I think are incredible. So
So good job, Val.
Thanks.
great job.
mostly
nailed it.
Andrew and Jason Powell, but thanks. And Masaki.
But they're not here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Jason get right. He
You
didn't get
are.
he didn't get writing credits on this song, so
Oh, he
he
did?
got stiffed. I think.
Um,
Oh,
I don't know if he
well,
did. I didn't.
I'm
you
pretty
can
sure
take
he
you can
helped
take
us.
all the credit since you're here.
I'm here. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
any praise that we
yeah,
put
anything
on
good,
the
just
album,
like-
it's all going directly to you. So
well,
Thanks.
well
Yep.
done, Val.
yeah,
Feel free to pass it out like with your discretion,
Later on.
or
Okay.
keep it all for yourself.
I think
Yeah,
I'm going to keep it
exactly.
for myself since they
You
wouldn't
should.
come and do this.
should.
So, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
sweet. Answer your Bandcamp, guys. That's the moral of the story. Let's move on to track number 5, Moses.
Every once in a while I start to contemplate how a person like me could be used by the great God, and then I look to those who lived before me. In the imperfections they showed God's glory. Moses and the burning bush. Well, everybody knows
love that.
he was
Muted
always
trumpet.
down with
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, there's a lot on this record. It makes things so classy, you know.
I know. Well, we talked about that on the Larry
Especially,
Boy.
I like how Brian like you were talking about how Brian's like a really good drummer. Like that definitely comes through. Like the parts that he's playing, like you could almost see him like after the W's like joining like a jazz band and he's doing all this kind of stuff. Like
Totally.
yeah,
sure.
I really like the drums on this record.
Yeah, it's got a real like Dixieland jazz feel to this song.
So I remember when Andrew wrote this, I think he wrote most of it. Maybe some of the horn lines were like Brett and I, but he came, we practiced it and stuff and we were playing it and he was like, this is going to be our number one song, guys. This is going to be it. This is going to be our new best song. It's going to replace The Devil Is Bad. And I mean, at the time we were like, yeah, this song's awesome. Let's do it. And I think, we were playing it before it was even like fully finished because we just all really liked it a lot. We thought it was awesome. But yeah, I don't have any other notes on it. I don't really remember anything else about it except that we thought it was going to be really big. And then it was like, it's okay.
Everyone was like, "Why'd you write a devil song?" And Andrew writes a song about Moses, and then people are like, we like the devil
Yeah, I know
song.
exactly. Yeah, I think it was our second single on the album, but I don't know that it like did any. I don't know how it tracked or anything. So
I like it to go back to the Dixieland jazz thing. I think what I like about it is like it's got a lot of really interesting individual parts. Like you guys do this thing which feels very like jazz band to me of like you all come together, do these parts, and then there are all these like tiny little showcases of all the different instruments and elements, which I think is awesome.
thanks. I mean, Brett and I had both been in a jazz band. I don't remember if Andrew was or not, but yeah. So we had some of that, like, a little bit of that traditional training, I guess,
Right.
to bring into the band.
Yeah, there feels like a lot of thought behind the composition and arrangement.
So when you guys were like when you were writing parts, can you walk me through a little bit of like the process of writing parts? Like, did you just keep kind of noodling and then just feel out a vibe, or did you?
I think it would be a
you
lot of
actually,
noodling in the beginning. When I was, if I was doing it, it'd be noodling along with us playing. Yeah, and then but sometimes Andrew would just come and be like, I've got the horn line too, and give it to us or whatever.
Cool.
Didn't happen a ton on this album, but did a little bit here and there. So
That's sweet. I love that.
I also really was curious about his sort of vocal affect, like the style that he sort of
it's kind of the way he
and,
talks,
like, speaks singing. Yeah, is that his voice?
Yeah, that's his
Like-
voice. That's just his voice.
Incredible.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Like,
Little man, big voice.
it's
Yep.
nothing you
Yeah.
have to like put on. It's just him.
yeah, that was just him.
It's
Yeah,
just natural. Amazing.
yeah.
Ugh. I like it even more.
Yeah.
Unless I find an interview now of him talking, just him talking in this voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't really like doing interviews, so I don't think he did very many. I think I dragged him to a couple like near the end of the band's career, but it wasn't really something he wanted to do. So
I get that.
Yeah, for
Sometimes
sure.
you don't want to.
It's always nice to have a front man who's like not trying to like always be out and like, I'll do the interviews. So
Right.
Well, I feel like I hear from a lot of artists that they're actually kind of more introverted in most situations. They like being on stage because there's like a controlled environment and they like know their role. And then as soon as the show's over, it's like, all right, bye. I'll be in the back room.
Yeah.
we were always good with like going out and hanging out with the kids and stuff after the shows.
Yeah.
I think it was more like the organized interview. Like, I mean, we would do full
Right.
band interviews where we were all there.
Sure.
But, I was kind of like, I was the oldest and I was kind of the most organized. Like I managed our money and stuff and did a lot. Like I, registered our name with the state and stuff like that as to be a company or whatever. And so
Nice.
a lot of times people would just be like, you go do the interview. You're the responsible one.
Yeah. You're the
So I ended up doing a bunch that kind of by myself sometimes. I would try and drag other people to them sometimes, but it didn't always work out, But yeah. I mean, there was quite a few full band interviews where you can hear Andrew talking and stuff, but yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Well, hey, we got more record to talk about, man. We got more record. Let's move on to track number 6, Pup.
I'm on the home one night after work. I saw you go inside with Captain Kirk. I then rolled around, the lights went out. That's when I decided to roam about. I wanna see
Also
how
some great bass on this one, man.
Sweet, sweet bass, man.
all over this record. Did you mention, Val, that this was one of the songs y'all had early on?
Yes, and it had no horn parts. It was kind of a grunge song almost.
Okay.
Andrew
All right.
wrote it for like a class, I think. And that was like one of the first songs we did, and I bet we were like, oh, we need to change this. We can't have this in our set when we're trying to be like ska, swing, whatever,
Right.
this grunge song. So we kind of swung it. And I think there was a horn line for it. I was listening to the demo the other day and I heard like a completely different horn line. I don't remember exactly why, but we got in the studio and Masaki was like, you need a better horn line for this song. And he helped us come up with the one that's in there, but it was like,
Sweet.
I can't remember what the first one was like, so maybe some of these stabs were like in it, bum,
Yeah.
bum, like that stuff was in there.
Right.
But the whole beginning part is a lot of Masaki guiding us through not being stupid. so-
Reworking.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good
Yeah.
producer right there.
Nice. What is so this is like the first song essentially that
it's
y'all
like
wrote?
it's
is like
about
the-
someone breaking into somebody's house so they can feed their dog.
Yeah, lyrically, it's one of my favorites.
I don't know why.
There's a lot.
Our songs are kind of all over the
insinuate.
place, subject matter wise. Yeah.
I bet Bible Enthusiast has a lot to say about this song on Genius.
I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything about sexual innuendos or
Or what
Phallic nature
it
of-
represents of
yeah.
So you mentioned Open Minded was one you wrote going into the studio. Was that the newest song that y'all had, or was there another one?
There's another one coming up that was like the newest song ever.
Okay, cool.
When we went to the studio,
Nice.
so I'll tell you when we get to it.
Okay,
Sweet.
perfect. I love it.
All right, we got anything else about Pup?
This is a fun, silly song. It's
It's
fun.
a fun little bop, dude.
It
Yeah.
is.
And that
We
little
played it a
bass
lot
solo
live.
in the middle is really great.
I wanna see your house from
Yeah.
inside.
I don't know why I can't explain. It reminds me, for some reason in my head, when I hear it, I think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And that
Okay.
may be something of like the swing kind of stuff and the like, because that's set in like Hollywood in the 30s, but it's like also like bright and colorful and kind of cartoony. That's just like in my brain. That's
I
like
think that
instead of like
describes the song,
synesthesia. Yeah, it just like
Completely.
I could see like Roger Rabbit just like walking down Toontown, hanging out with Eddie Valiant. Sweet. Okay, let's move on to track number 7, King of Polyester.
When it's fall, who is he? Who is he? Who is he? What does he do? When there's another he watches
This is my favorite song.
Is it?
Of course.
Great pick. I think like this when I was a kid, I think this was the last song I remember listening to. Like the rest of the record, I don't like have much memories of like as a kid, but I definitely remember King of Polyester. And I think I thought of it was like I didn't think it was a bowling song. I thought it was about like a guy who was like a part of like an underground fighting ring because he's like he's
People
got
did not know what
you
this
got to
song
watch
was
out
about.
for his hook,
Right.
and then like he's dropping rednecks. Like so, I'm
Yeah.
like maybe this guy's just going in and just pummeling these dudes, and he just leaves, and then he's back to fight the next night. That's what
Andrew
I thought
bowled
it
a
was.
lot, and like he wrote all the lyrics to the song just about a guy having a perfect game, and
Yeah.
it's but people were always like, what is this about? And like the part where we say he marks them up, there's always kids being like, what are you saying there? Are you saying he fucks them up? We're like, no, we're not. We're not saying that.
Wow.
We would not have gotten on the label if that
Right,
was in our
yeah.
lyrics. But people were convinced. And no one knew what it was about. So it was. And once you explain it, like it's bowling pins have that red line. They're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then they figured out.
He's
But I
not
can
hitting
see-
people; he's hitting bowling pins.
Listening to it, I can see how it'd be like, oh yeah, it's not really. There's so much lingo, bowling lingo, that if you don't know it, then
Right.
you're not gonna know what he's talking
It's
about.
lost
So
on you.
And that's part of why I loved it. I was a bowling kid. Like
That
when I
makes
was
so
homeschooled,
much
I was
sense.
I was homeschooled for a while, and I was
The
part of like a
feud, the branch.
homeschool bowling league. And so I loved all this shit. Man.
This is in between magic sessions. Magic shows
yeah.
that you were doing?
I went from magic to ventriloquism to bowling. That was such a
Just
weird
Magic,
painting
like,
in your garage.
performing magic or
performing
the
magic.
Gathering?
Yes. Oh,
I did
Magic
that
the
too
Gathering
in
was
high school.
demonic.
Yeah, I performed magic in high school too. So,
I love it. It's so
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I tried again to get into magic at the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm starting to get arthritis in my hands, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna start a podcast instead."
yeah.
So that's why we're here.
nice.
I mean, you worked it into your Halloween costume, so
That's true. That's true. A few years ago, I went to a Halloween party at TJ's, and it was so complicated. I dressed up like an old school magician, and the costume was I was Magic Mike, but a guy who had never seen the movie Magic Mike and assumed it was about magicians, which
Yeah.
is so hard to explain at this party, which was mostly filled with people I didn't know.
didn't know, and I loved it. It was my favorite costume of the whole party.
They're like, "Oh, so you're a magician?" I'm like, "I'm Magic Mike," and
Nice.
I was like, "What?"
Nice.
I'm like, "I don't know."
I liked witnessing Kylan explaining the costume. That was my favorite part of the night, and just the blank stares of people.
Yeah, everyone's like,
That's
"Okay."
great.
Yeah.
Val, what are y'all saying at the very end? What does he do?
He marks them up.
He marks.
Like he
them
marks up
Okay.
the scorecard.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought that's
Not-
what you were talking about earlier.
Not he
but I
fucks
wanted
them
to
up. Yeah, no.
confirm for the listeners and
Yeah.
mostly for me.
No,
Okay.
there's a interview that Todd the Rod did on Jesus Freak Hideout that he answers the same question, and I was like, oh, thank goodness that they asked him this, because I would have never known until you said this just now, if
That's great.
without hearing that. I want to know about like leaning into the bowling aesthetic for this record.
I was
Like,
gonna ask that too.
yeah. Walk us through that.
I think that was just like one of those things where it was like the label was like, hey, we can go to this bowling alley in San Francisco and shoot a bunch of pictures, and you got a song about bowling, so let's do it. And we were like, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I mean, all of us actually did bowl except for Todd. He didn't bowl. He didn't care. Like, so that day we went to the bowling alley and took the pictures. I think we bowled a little bit too and stuff. Like actually bowled, not just for
Nice.
the photo shoot. But yeah, it was just something that kind of happened. And then we had an ad for the album in a bowling magazine or something, because the cover is Brian with the bowling
Really?
ball like this and the pins. And so I think somebody thought it was a good idea to put the ad in the bowling magazine. I don't know.
Nice.
I mean, we had a lot of fun doing
You had
that.
a lot of skinheads and bowlers at your shows, probably after that, right?
Yep.
And 7-year-olds.
Those early days, yeah.
seven-year-olds.
The
It's an
skinheads and the
eclectic
7-year-olds did not
crowd.
get along.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
So why? Because without like, we may talk about this on another episode, but like you change like the aesthetic from the bowling to like the Air Squadron for Trouble with X.
Wow,
So like, did y'all not want to like make just bowling like your thing? Like, this is our look from now on, or was it like the idea to change it every record or something like that?
No, there wasn't. I think we put a lot of thought into it. The art director was like, "Hey, let's go out to this airstrip. I think it was Travis Air Force Base, and they got these uniforms you can wear, and we can take a bunch of pictures." And we were like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." There wasn't a lot of. I don't think we had a lot of conscious thought into like the art direction of the albums.
Right.
We were more just the music side, and we kind of let Aaron, who was the art director, just kind of run with whatever he wanted to do. Not that we
It
didn't
was like
care.
wherever you had permission to do a photo shoot, that became
Kind
the
of, yeah.
aesthetic.
Probably, yeah.
That's
Yep.
great.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
the bowling as the aesthetic. I think it works super well.
I liked
It's
it.
really
Yeah, it worked
cool.
really well for us in the beginning.
Yeah.
Me too. As a bowling kid, I was.
Did y'all
was all
sell?
about it.
Did y'all sell those shirts that had like the W's, the bowling shirts with the W's on the back?
No. And actually,
Missed opportunity.
a bunch of my stuff that I had, like W's shirts and early demos and stuff, I had in a box in a storage locker that got broken into at some point, and it just all got stolen.
No.
Like all my early demos,
Some
all
super
my
fan
all my
stole
shirts,
it.
and well, I mean, they stole my bike, they stole my Game Boy, they stole my first sax.
They were a
the
super
sax that we
fan of
rented from
stealing.
Grace. Yeah, they just stole like everything out of that storage locker that was worth anything. So
Damn.
Oof.
it sucked, but
He's probably the guy selling that shirt on eBay right now.
I was just thinking
Probably
that.
where you got it.
also after the band broke up, I had like this giant duffel bag full of T-shirts that I would just take to work with me, and I worked in a mailroom, and so I would just, because kids would still like reach out, they'd contact me all the time and stuff. They'd find me online or whatever, and they'd be like, "Hey, blah blah blah," and I'd be like, "Hey, what's your address? I'll send you a shirt." And I would just stuff a bunch of shirts into a bag, and send it to him.
That's great.
And then at some point, I go out to my car in the morning, and the windows are busted. And I'm like, "Oh crap!" And I'm looking through the
my
car,
God.
and the only thing that was stolen was that giant duffel bag full of T-shirts. And so all I can imagine is that like whoever stole it's like getting to there like, yeah, and they open it up and they're just like, "What the fuck? This is all. What is this? The W's? What is
Same
this?"
T-shirt.
Yeah. So I was like, I should go to the San Jose flea market and see if there's just like someone with a rack of W's T-shirts and
Right.
whatever. But yeah,
Been trying to hawk them for years.
yeah.
That's like one time my car got broken into, and all they stole was I had a suitcase full of old fedoras.
This is very similar. Very similar.
Just imagine,
Disappointing.
like just a bunch of like ratty old fedoras that I got
Yeah.
from Goodwill and stuff.
Like they didn't steal my car stereo. They didn't steal like I had my Discman in there. They didn't steal anything else. They just took that
Right.
giant bag and
Just that giant bag.
yeah, I don't know
I
what.
thought it was the
what
mother
deal was.
load. And
It's a choice.
Kylan, this is your favorite song. Tell me why.
Yeah, dude. Well, I told you it's like it's a bowling
Just
song,
bowling?
man.
Just bowling?
And I
Okay.
was like, yeah, because you guys know beyond the bowling thing, I was just such a weird fucking kid, and I was like obsessed with like 40s and 50s pop culture, and a little like that kind of like mid-century kind of thing, like when I was a kid, like Maltese Falcon was my favorite movie. I used to listen to the Jack Benny show, like the old radio show. And so, and I used to go bowling by myself. And I just loved the whole, like musically, the whole kind of like swing thing, and the subject matter was just, I was like, oh, cool, bowling shit. Like, I feel represented right now.
Yeah, somehow I can see so vividly like little kid Kylan in like a fedora and like some tweed
suspenders,
like some tweed,
and,
like
yeah.
a vest and like a tie, a bow tie maybe, and like dress shoes. And
Yeah.
you just bowled a strike, and you're like doing jazz hands to this song, walking back. That's like your victory dance.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It probably happened.
Yeah. I can tell you a couple times that happened.
I knew it.
Well, and I like the way that like the perspective that the song is written in. Like, I don't know, it's very like cinematic of like the guy coming in, and
Yeah.
like it's
Exactly.
written very well. Like, it's a very cool way to tell a story about bowling, which is there probably aren't very many ways to do that well, but this is one of them.
I think that's the hats off to Andrew then, because he was, I think he was pretty good at, he was very careful about choosing all of his lyrics. A lot of it was like how it fit musically with what he thought, how he thought the vocal should go. But a lot of it was also like, he didn't want something that just fit musically. He wanted it to like work structurally too, to tell the story or whatever we were doing. So yeah, I remember like trying to help him write lyrics for a bunch of the songs on the second album. And I just had to walk away sometimes. I'm like, I've given you so much and you're just throwing it all back at me. And
Not into
yeah. So yeah, he was very,
not working.
very particular about that stuff. So yeah, hats off to him for that.
Yeah, I know, it's very good.
There are genius annotations for this that basically just explains all of the bowling lingo
Oh, okay, good.
and essentially how bowling works.
Well, for somebody who doesn't know what bowling
Stepped
is.
on up with an arrow inside from the middle, 1, 2, 3 to the right. One of the keys to successful bowling is to find a spot where a bowler can consistently bowl strikes. Roughly 1/3 of the way down the lane, there are a series of arrows, which can be, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. But then it does all that, and then towards the end, it says, down the alley with the perfect hook, he hit him so hard the whole room shook. The annotation is, he did it. He completed a 300 game. Cool, thanks.
I mean,
Thanks for that
is
context.
what's happening there. But
I
yeah.
know it's more accurate than the other annotation.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's also just like that's the thing.
Is
with
that
G-
Bible
it's like, I don't-
enthusiast?
It's not. I
Okay.
looked. It's Redeemer
Bowling enthusiast.
MH. So yeah, I just like. I guess if that's how you want to spend your time, I mean, cool.
People need to know, man.
Yeah. All right.
I just realized, this was probably a good time to release a song about bowling and an album with a bowling aesthetic? Like what I think this was 2 years after Big Lebowski came out. So
Oh, yeah.
there's probably some
There you go.
striking while the iron's
That
hot,
might have
right?
been the art director's thought process. And he might have even said it, and I just didn't even catch it. But I didn't even think about that.
Kingpin came out in '96.
Yeah, I didn't think
was
about
a-
graphic art at
both
all.
those
So
were-
all that stuff is like, it was over my head. So
Just wanted to make cool tunes.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
respect
just wanted to go on tour.
Yeah, I get that. All right, guys, let's move on to track number 8. Jason E.
Jason E. Strutting on by the breastplate, the way you walk, you slow your talk, can you tell me? I could choose the road you did, the walls behind which you hid. Who do you blame? Who should take the fall? Not me.
So this is the last song we wrote going into the album.
Okay.
Nice.
And I wouldn't say we wrote it. This is another one like Andrew had everything down and brought it to us. And this might be my favorite song on the album. Actually, I love this one just for how weird it was.
Cool.
I loved Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo, and I feel like this part, not this part, but like the part in kind of the chorus or post-chorus or whatever, just really reminded me of Oingo Boingo.
I was gonna
Yeah.
call this the ska song that Danny Elfman didn't write. I literally had that note.
But yes, this was just really good. And so Jason E. was this guy in Corvallis. He was kind of a homeless guy. A lot of the guys lived in this apartment. It's kind of house apartment thing. And I guess one day he just kind of walked in with these 2 bikes and he's like, "Hey, anybody want to buy a bike?" And Todd was just like, "You need to leave right now," is the way the story goes. And he would just come around and like ask for stuff. And Like one time he came around and he wanted some vitamin C or something. And so Andrew comes out with the vitamin C and he's like, you got to put it in my mouth. My hands don't work. And so Andrew's like throwing it kind of into his mouth. So this guy, and he told us his name was Jason E. And he had a bunch of other names too, I guess. But so this song was just kind of like I don't know, one of those songs where it's like, you know, you could make a bad choice in your life and things could go really wrong. So like, don't look down at these people that, you know, are homeless or whatever, or kind of mentally unbalanced because, you know, you don't know what their story is. You don't know what bad choice they made. So, I mean, I also liked it for that aspect. I thought it was one of our most conscious songs, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I like that. So,
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, compared to like Pup, it's got a lot more to say.
It's got a point, yeah.
Substance.
It's like the last one we wrote going to the album. So, I mean, it makes sense. We were actually trying at that point. We're like, oh.
Right,
but it was like, I mean, he showed us the song and I was like, this song is awesome, but we're never going to like, no one's going to want to hear this. No one's going to like this song. We all love it a lot. I think we played it live like twice, maybe 3 times. But
oh wow.
Well, it's like a musician's song, I think.
Yeah.
Like it's for people who are music nerds that like enjoy multiple parts and dynamic rise and fall.
Saki and Masaki, had a huge fight over like a half step on the one note. Like he wanted it a half step lower and I wanted it a half step higher on a clarinet part I was playing.
Interesting.
And it was like a giant, you know, one of those where neither one of us was backing down. And like looking back at it now, I was like, it's so stupid that I cared that much about a half step on this like one note, you know. But because even though Andrew would come to us with like this horn line fully formed, Brett and I would kind of like arrange it and come up with the different like harmonies and stuff like that.
Right.
So that was kind of one of those things where it's like, I really want to own this harmony that I wrote and I don't want it to change kind of thing, you know? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your part. You wanted to be proud of it.
Yeah. I mean, I still am. I still think the whole song is really, like you said, it's like a musician song. It's one of our, musically, it intrigues me the most. I like it the best for that reason, so.
I love this part at like 250.
Yeah.
This is the wacky part. It feels like the most theatrical.
I get a real
with Danny Elfman,
definitely
drama.
Danny Elfman. So I get
the
like
drama
some,
kid,
like a Twilight Zone vibe, like a little bit of like it could score part of a Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
I love it.
Nightmare Before Cosmos.
No,
there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm just
There
got
it
the
is.
puns going.
There you go.
I love that movie and I love Danny Elfman, so I guess it makes
There you
sense.
go.
This would be my favorite
Yeah.
song.
Sure.
Oh man.
That's so rad.
All right, you're helping me. This is not one of my favorite songs on the record, but I'm enjoying hearing more context about it because I think I'm appreciating the song more than I previously did. I've talked about like how I don't like circusy music.
Yeah. My wife was like, Josh is not going to like this song.
She was
a
right.
circus song.
Heather, you were right.
And I was like, I don't know. He did. I don't remember. I was listening to one thing and you guys were talking about Danny Elfman. And I was like, he might like it because someone said they like Danny Elfman. But yeah, I'm going to go tell her you were right. She was right.
She was right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, well, she was wrong about the opening track, but right about this.
Yeah. She was right about Josh not
Balances
liking the
out.
circus music. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, not a circus music fan. I get that.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, guys, let's move on to track number 9, Alarm Clock.
Woke up this morning to the sound of an alarm clock ringing in my ear. I rub my eyes, glance to my clock, hit my roommate James in the head with a sock, rolled into bed, got to my feet, and started a new week.
Some sublime action.
Feels kind of surfy.
I really like this song too.
Yeah, I do too.
I think a lot of my original horn line survived this one too.
Nice.
You can tell because it's stupid simple a lot. There's some spots at the end where
This is a song about an alarm clock. I think Sipple works on this song.
What's the 5-iron song that has a horn line that's very similar to that part that we just heard?
was I copying
You know what I'm
5-iron?
talking about?
Oh man,
No, I mean I don't
I
think
think it's
I might have
you
been
were copying,
unconsciously
but it just-
copying 5-iron.
it's reminiscent.
Okay,
It's like
So that part-
na.
I don't know if anybody picked this up, and it's probably super nerdy, but at the end of the chorus, right before this part, there's a little thing where it's just guitar, bass, and drums, and we do it one time after the first chorus, and then we do it 2 times after the second chorus, and then 3 times after the third chorus. And it was like this inside joke amongst all of us, but I don't think anybody ever like realized it or got it. So
No, that's
so
so
great.
cool. I love
Yes.
shit like that.
I'll point it out when it comes
Also-
around again.
I love that y'all start the song slow, as if like you're still waking up and you're
and-
moving
yeah.
slow. You haven't had your coffee yet, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden the day like gets crazy, and then at the end you wind
Goes
down
back.
again.
Yeah.
That's so good. I loved that.
Okay, so here's the part.
An average day.
So that
Okay.
yeah,
That's so
that part that was two
cool.
times. Then it goes three
Oh,
times
that's
after the
so
third
cool.
chorus, and at the end
I
of the song
love
it's four
that.
times. So yeah. And I think
Dang.
we're like, hey Saki, like look at this thing that we did. It's really cool. And he's just like, yeah, whatever. That's I'm like, oh man, we're trying to impress you, and
Hard to please.
he was.
I don't know.
Gosh.
Well, I feel like we're impressed. That's the kind of like
Yeah.
music nerd shit that we definitely appreciate.
We're
Oh,
good.
yeah,
stoked
for sure.
about it.
That's so cool.
So like I listened to this album as a kid, but like there was a lot like past King of Polyester that I don't remember. But then I like rediscovered it when I was like a senior in high school, and I like bought the CD because we still only had the cassette, so I could like actually rip it and listen to it. Because I don't know, I guess I still had a cassette player in 2009, but like when I got to rediscover like this album again and like kind of the back end of the songs for the first time, like this was my favorite back then. Of like, oh, like Alarm Clock is so fun and cool. So like this was always like this was a favorite for a long time for me.
This was a crowd favorite too. People really wanted to hear this song. I think. They
Lyrically,
liked
it's
it a
really
lot.
fun too. It's
Yeah.
And like you're saying, I think it's pretty 5 Iron Frenzy-ish and stuff, and so we were playing
Yeah.
for their crowds. So,
Great
you know.
energy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just really fun. It's a fun song. Also, do you have any stories about any of the Foley noises? Like the weird.
Oh yeah,
Like the
noises
very
that
first one,
happen
the
in
blah, 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 was Andrew doing that, and then I think
Okay.
the other ones might have just been Masaki finding stuff online.
Okay.
'Cause I think we would just make weird noises in the mic live for those
Right.
parts, and yeah, we were like, oh, can we do something better than that? I mean, that was just something we did, and Masaki's like, hey, we can do this, like, and the slide whistle thing. We were just like, that's awesome,
Yes.
and we loved it so much when he pulled it out. Yeah, I think he might have just found samples online. I don't know for sure, but yeah. we
Did
were
he
just
do
in
that
love
while
with
y'all
it.
were still tracking it, or was this like later, like mixes after?
I
the
don't.
fact
I
that
think
he
we
was
might have
sending
heard
y'all?
it. I think we tracked everything, and then he played it for us, and we heard that, and we were just like, "That's awesome," which
Yeah.
is like the
'Cause the-
stupidest thing to think is awesome, but I mean,
Right.
that's what we loved. Yeah,
I don't know.
mean-
I'm always impressed when I actually like hear or see it. Like a slide whistle is like if there's a slide whistle available to play, literally everyone is gonna go play it. Like it's
Got
just
one in the
there's-
It's true.
It's just
Nice.
fun, man. Just
Yeah.
fun.
I pictured y'all all standing around and like taking turns making the board make weird noises.
no, yeah. Like I said, I think he found a sample. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what stand we made before that live, but
My head canon is y'all all taking turns with the board.
well, and after it came out, I was like, I don't know how do we reproduce these sound effects, and I think we might have quit.
Right.
We might have quit doing sound effects at that point because we were like, we can't do it. I don't know. We didn't have a slide whistle, so yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Well,
great.
guys, let's move on to track number 10, Flower Tattoo.
Hair is gold and her eyes are blue. I'm in love with a girl with a flower tattoo. If I wrote the perfect song, you know I'd name it after you.
This one's very close to my favorite.
This is originally a Down by Law song.
Oh.
And Zach, the original drummer, he was like, I want us to do this song. We'll do a ska version of it, and it'll be completely different than the original. So that was how it got into our set list. And
That's cool.
the the horn line that you hear right here is one I kind of came up with. And we just did it the whole way through the song, like it never changed.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved how stupid it was. I think Brett and I really loved how stupid it was and how annoying it was to people. Like Scott Kerr, like, I hate that horn line, he would tell us, stuff. So we went to the studio, was like, yeah, we got to keep that. And the rest of the band's like, yeah, no, we're going to do something different. We're going to change that up. And I was like, oh,
That's funny.
yeah. And then after the part that we did come up with, Frank, the label guy, he was always like, this sounds like a game show song. He's like, I love it. It's like coming on down to The Price is Right.
That's so
We're
true.
just like, oh, cool. And then I loved it after he said that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you
Nice.
said that, that's all I'm gonna be able to picture now.
Yeah, this part.
Come on down.
Yeah.
there you go.
So good.
Was this like a common thing to do, like covers, especially like within like the Christian scene or whatever? Were there a lot of people like doing covers of like non-Christian bands back in the day?
I don't even know. I know Five Iron did some, covers of like ELO and ABBA and stuff. I don't really know that they did them live even. I think they just did them for...
Well, yeah, for a record though, like to make a record.
I don't know. I don't remember if Christian bands were doing it. I know like other bands were doing covers of songs and like doing them in an entirely different style, just changing them up because of the the contrast of doing that. Like we did the contrast of, if anyone goes and listens to the original of this song, you're going to be like, what the? It's very punk rock and just kind of, but people would always think that we wrote it. And Andrew's wife Lori would like work the table in the back selling T-shirts and CDs with my wife, and
They're like, where's the
girls
flower
would always come up
tattoo?
and they'd be like, "Do you have a flower tattoo?" She'd just be like, "No, there's no flower tattoo, no." So yeah,
Stop
I think we
asking.
kind of quit doing it at some point, probably because of that. But I mean, not entirely because of that, but just
Right.
Were there any other songs that y'all talked about? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess why like include the cover, or were there any covers that y'all were like in between? Like maybe we could put this on the record, or were y'all just trying to like bump up to 12 songs?
I think this one was
instead
just
of-
one we did forever. So the crowd in Corvallis, the non-Christian crowd that knew what the original Down by Law song was, they loved it. They loved our cover of it because it was so different, and they thought it was awesome. So it stayed in our set list around Oregon a lot because of that crowd,
popular.
the non-Christian crowd that would really like it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then it was just kind of a fun song, so Christian crowd kind of like, oh, yeah, it's a fun song. I like it too. But it's just one of those things that like it got in our set list. People liked it. And so we just kept it until we went to the album. Like we dropped we dropped the Jesus Loves Me, Purple Haze, and we dropped the Chick Magnet cover and the Lori cover, which I don't remember what the original song of that was called. But yeah, we had 3 other covers that we did live that we just dropped. So
Nice. This one fits really well though.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
I like
good
it.
inclusion.
All right, guys, let's do track number 11, Dexter.
Dexter was this little town my family used to live in. All the kids lived real close and everyone had an opinion. Grandparents lived up the street right next to the walnut tree. Grandpa died of Parkinson's in 1983.
All these intros are so good.
this is another Todd song.
Yeah, another song with lyrics by Todd.
Might be my horn line right there.
I like the horns on this one a lot because they do that kind of. We talked about it on an episode recently that I love flabby horns.
Flabby.
Is it maybe because like they do this thing specifically in the intro, like I don't know anything, but like because the horns are like so tight throughout, but they do that kind of thing, and
I think
it
that was
sounds
Brett.
like
I think that was Brett
Yeah.
adding his own flourish to it, because it's like definitely on the trumpet. So
yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
super cool though. I love it.
Yeah, it gives it some personality.
this song we first started doing it, Todd would sing it, and Todd sings like who's the other guitarist in No Effects that can't sing? What's his name? do you know what I'm talking about? Who just kind of yells vocals here and there.
Yeah.
Todd kind of sings like him at the time, and so we did it a few times with Todd singing it, and Todd was just like, "Yeah, no, I can't do it anymore." So Andrew would sing it, and then at some point we would do Frank. We would start Frank, and we'd go like one verse and one chorus, and then we would like transition into Dexter and do like a couple of verses and chorus of Dexter, and then go back into like the solo part of Frank, and then come out Frank finishing it. So it was like the Todd sandwich song kind of thing. Live.
Wild.
There you go.
Todd
Yeah.
sandwich.
I think, yeah.
I hope on your set list it was just like bread and then the word Todd in the middle.
Todd the Rod sandwich.
Todd the Rod sandwich.
My wife was reminding me the other day that when we did this song live, while James was doing his solo, Brett and I would put our horns down and we would like do like acrobatic stunts. Like
Oh my God.
I was a lot more fit. I would like jump over him basically while he was standing up. I'd just grab onto his shoulders and propel myself over him. And he would like
that's so
fall
fun.
into a somersault, and we were doing stuff like that during this
Oh,
song.
nice.
So
That's
Nice.
so fun.
Big crowd pleasers. I am a little bit jealous of like we all just like having to just like bring like your horns just to like set up like, oh, here's my band practice set up. Like I brought my clarinet, I brought my saxophone instead of like I got to bring my guitar and my amp, or like a drummer is bringing all their stuff. Like you're just like, here's my one thing, I'm done.
Then we also had to like, for any flyout shows, it was like we had to carry on our horns because if they got checked, one time I checked my tenor sax 'cause it was really big, and it like came out like busted up, and I had to like do some emergency repairs to it before the show. And after that, it was just like I'm buying a flight case and I'm just carrying it on every time.
Yep.
So yeah,
People like, oh, you're in a band.
one time we were loaded on a plane in Oakland, and we're getting on the plane, and there's like Billy Joe Armstrong and his wife, and they're like little boy or something. And we're walking past him. We all have these horn cases, and you can see his wife just being like, like thinking that we were gonna stop and talk. I don't know. We were just, she was just like, and Billy Joe was like, yo, he was like kind of turning and playing with his boy, like
Right.
like he knew, like they knew we were musicians,
guys.
and they were afraid we were gonna like accost them or something.
Bug them, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but
So funny.
we just walked on by. We were like, yeah, we don't want to
You
bother
played
him.
it cool.
Yeah,
Play it cool, man.
Good move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solid move.
I would hate to end up like a Billy Joe Armstrong story of stupid guys that bugged him on a plane or
Right,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, no.
Context for listeners, we have some more genius annotations on this song.
Oh
From
no.
our good friend Redeemer MH. So, at the very end, it just says, Jimmy, he could fix a car, but he couldn't read a book. High school taught him nothing that a 350 V8 wouldn't. The annotation is, some people may lack book smarts, but are successful in other ways. In this case, Jimmy is very talented in automobile mechanics. Parentheses, and we all want our cars to run. So thank you.
Thanks, Redeemer. Appreciate that.
He's
Hot
not
take.
wrong. That person is not
Yeah.
wrong.
It's true. It's just like so many of these. It's like, yeah, but does this need to be said? You
Yeah,
you
you
took
just
time
said
out of
the
your day
same
to like
thing.
type this out to explain I think I asked this before, like who is the audience for like these annotations? Like
I mean,
who is
clearly
thinking like
our podcast?
like, man, I like this Jimmy part, but like what is he talking about? I don't understand.
Jimmy still has a lot to offer though, despite not being book smart.
Crazy.
People need to know.
Crazy. All right, guys, there's one
Well,
more
I was
song.
gonna say, this song reminds me
Well,
a little bit of.
There's two more songs.
That's true. I was going to save it.
Okay.
A bonus.
This song reminds me a little bit of like Staples on Relient K's first record. just 'cause it's like, yeah, a little bit like that. It's kind of it's just like the idea, at least the first verse of like the go kart. So like I don't know.
Oh, Dexter.
I had Dexter. Yeah. Like, and I had neighbors that had a go kart that we'd ride around on. So I'm like, oh yeah, this song takes me back. Even though I don't remember listening to this song as a kid, like
But
the
just
lyrics,
the-
I relate
yeah.
to it. Yeah. I'm like, this would have. I don't know why. I would have loved it probably. Be like,
Probably.
go-karts. Yeah.
All right, guys. There's one more official track on this record. Track 12.
He messed with the hooey and the nookie stuff. The waves weren't going his way. I met a guy in Turtle and he took him in. Boys, when he had it made. Don't mess with the hooey. The Nile Tide's one to mess with. Don't mess with the hooey, or else you're gonna get your butt scared.
Guitar tone is so sweet.
I just wish this song was a little surfier. Like, put on some spring reverb,
Stop.
Andrew.
This is one of our like early songs too that we had. And there's like one horn, like I said, there's one horn line forever, and then Andrew came up with this horn line right here. And that part where I go really low, I could not, like early on, it was hard for me to get those low notes. And so we'd be doing this song live, and I'd just be like, I can't,
Bottom out.
looking like an idiot. Yeah, I was like, ugh. So I hated this song forever. So I have this set list on the wall in my garage that Todd made for me one time. It was just hooey, because I was always talking about how much I hated this song. So he's like,
Incredible.
here's Val's set list, and he gave it to me.
That's so funny.
And then I was like, I need the real one too, though, Todd. So
But you just played the horn line from this.
I just played Huey
on
the whole
every
time.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, Todd said.
That's the set
so
list you gave me, man.
Yeah. So this, I don't know if you know or not, is based on the movie North Shore, which is a like movie about surfers.
Yeah.
So like, it's the
Right.
story of what happens in the movie. Like this kid from Arizona wins a contest on like a wave machine and goes to Hawaii and tries to play with the locals or whatever and gets
Yeah.
Anyway, But this is the song that has butts kicked in it, which was another line that got us booted from some bookstores.
You got your butts kicked right out of the family Christian bookstores.
Yeah.
Indecent language.
I'm telling.
So crazy. That's so weird.
And there's a part in the song where we say a bunch of lines from the movie, and we were always like, we want to get actual samples from the movie and put them in there
Right.
on the recording, but like the label, looked into it and they're like, it's gonna be really hard
Too
to
expensive.
to do that and get all the rights and stuff. And we're like, okay, we'll just say them like we always do. Yeah, but
now you get to have those memories of y'all saying them.
There you go.
it's just James. It's just James saying them all on the recording.
He's doing all of them?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, he's the bad guy. He's the hooey.
That's well, I mean, I don't remember why it happened that he just did them all, but he just did for the album. I don't know that maybe he was there one day and Saki's like, hey, come on, we're doing the lines now or something,
Yep, probably. Y'all were out like grabbing food, and he was the only one there.
Yep, yeah, maybe.
I thought you were going home. You took his stuff, you pound him. I can tell you're lame by the way you wear your shorts. You got a duck dive.
I kind of wish y'all had like continued this trend and just like become a ska band of doing a band that just does ska movie synopsises. Like
That would be
you
so
just like
good.
Yes.
I know there's a market for that.
There really is.
I mean,
That could be a
I kinda
YouTube
wish,
channel.
Yeah, I know. I kind of
Yeah.
Dog Trout. Like in our alternate universe, Dog Trout is just doing
New single, Weekend at Bernie's too.
Yeah. Just tell you the movie over a ska beat.
Here's what
That's
happened.
would
genius,
totally
Josh.
listen.
That's $1 million idea right there.
I know. Let's do it, guys.
That could blow up on TikTok.
It would.
It's ska spoilers synopsises or something like that because
so
it
good.
spoils it because
Spoilers.
I haven't seen North Shore, but I feel like I have now.
I haven't
Yep.
seen it. But everyone else had, so
You've never seen it still?
Yeah, no. Like, I think it was on a couple times, but I like didn't stay in the room or whatever. I know I've seen parts from it, but yeah.
Never seen the whole thing.
Nope.
You had better things to do
I don't know that
than
I did.
surf with a bunch of
but-
possums.
Yeah.
But hey, Josh, TJ, y'all can't talk because I named my album Winter Light, and that's based on a movie, and both of y'all made that record with me and still haven't seen the movie. So
True.
I'm
y'all have
going
no
to.
no room to talk. Okay, so that was officially the last track on the record, but guys,
Unofficially.
we got more track. We got a secret bonus track. I have to find how much silence there is before we
It
get to
starts
it.
at 8:21.
Thank you. That's why I keep
Of
you
course,
around.
Josh knew that.
I wrote
Yeah,
it
they're
down for
locked
this
and loaded.
exact reason.
Good job, bud.
Five Iron Frenzy is from Denver, Colorado. They live in the Mile High City. They are good friends. They will be there till the bitter end. Five Iron Frenzy, Five Iron Frenzy, Five Iron Frenzy, Five Iron Frenzy.
So Val, does this have a name? Does this have a title?
I think it's called Five Iron Frenzy. I don't know if do you guys
Amazing.
know who Wesley Willis is?
Mm-mm.
So this song is basically a Wesley Willis song. He was this guy from Chicago. He had a lot of like mental health issues, and he would just he had a ton of albums though, and every song was exactly like this. It would just talk about this band was from this city. They rocked really hard. He played a show with them, and he would just kind of yell their name over the chorus like this. And he just had a keyboard that he would just like
Right.
push the fill button on it and stuff. And
Yeah,
Ah, I love that.
presets.
yeah, so this song was just like, oh, we're gonna write a song about. I mean, I loved Wesley Willis, and I went and saw him live and stuff. So I was like, well, I'm gonna write a song about Five Iron, and I'm gonna do it as Wesley Willis. I mean, I jokingly say this is my favorite song, but I remember when I was doing this song,
Yes.
Masaki loved Wesley Willis too, and so like he's recording me doing these vocals, and he's like, "You're singing it too well. You got to stop singing it. You just got to yell it and not be
Yell
on
it.
key."
That's
And you
so
just keep
funny.
telling me, making me redo it because I was singing it too well. So
Too good. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
You got to be in proper Wesley style.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
I do know Wesley Willis. He's got a song "Birdman Kicked My Ass" that they used to have on they would play that on I used to have the Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law season 1
it's
DVD.
a Harvey Birdman thing.
They played that was like the song that would just loop
Okay.
on the DVD menu. That's
Oh,
where
man.
I first heard.
Yeah, but
This
if you
is
listen to
great.
one of his songs like about a band, it's pretty much like this, pretty much. So, yeah, other songs
I love
about other
it.
stuff. And at the end of the song would always be like "Rock over London, Rock over Chicago," and then they would give like some tagline of some product.
Rock over London, rock on Chicago. 5-minute walk. Love God, love others. Take time to listen.
So I did the 5-minute walk tagline at the end of it. You know,
Nice. The
That's
label's
so
gotta
good.
love it, you know.
That's so good.
I love that you give the props to the sound guy in this one. That Fred kept them good in the mix. You know. Sound
oh
guys
yeah,
don't
he was
get
the
enough
sound guy with
shout-outs.
us. Yeah, he was always with us on tour. So
Yeah, that was a really neat shout out.
that was another Wesley Willis line. You know, talk about the sound guy kept whatever band good in the mix. So
Oh, nice.
I love
Yeah.
that.
It's a big homage.
this
So good.
So my wife was like, Josh gave us the tracks for this, and so like my wife was listening to it in the car the other day when she picked my son up, and it, you know, the Hui finished, and there was just dead silence, and she's driving home with him, and all of a sudden that song comes on, and he's just like, and she's like, oh, "That's your dad." And he just goes, "What?" He's 17, so nothing I do is cool, and I
Peak
embarrass him all the
embarrassment
time. So
age right now
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
She needs to show up like dropping him off to school, and this is
Just blast that
blasting.
song.
Yes. Yes.
No, yeah. So I love it that people have no idea who Wesley Willis is too, and they hear that song and they think that I was like being sincere, and that's how I sing. So that's another one of the things I enjoy about people discovering that track and finding out it was me.
You're like, listen, man, it's an homage. I'm playing a character,
Yeah,
and check him
They're
out because he's great.
That's why he's the tenor saxophonist and not the singer.
not the vocalist. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Ouch!
That's great.
I worked
Yeah.
hard on this track. Okay,
I did work hard on it. I had to
I
make my vocals crappier, and it was hard.
it's tricky.
Yeah,
It's like a weird thing to have to work on.
exactly.
great.
Well, guys,
That was it.
do we need to do our official flop or bop verdicts on Fourth from the Last?
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
I feel like this. We hadn't talked about a little bit. I don't know. Does this create a dangerous precedent?
No,
It's
no.
not dangerous for me right now.
You guys can
but
flop
I'm
it
just worried
all you
about like
want.
later
I will
on
be
down the
fine.
line if I have to flop a record to an artist's face. I'm worried about that.
That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, you guys could do what you want, but I'm going to say this album's a bop. This is just straight up a bop. Like, it's a very, you have to be in the mood for this kind of music. It's not an all the time music, at least for me. But, I've had a chaotic week. You guys know I'm very susceptible to my environment affecting how I feel about an album. But the sun's been shining here in Oregon. It's like the weather's been perfect. It's a good mop bop, guys. I've been cleaning my house, getting ready to pack. You can just
Love a
put
good
this
mop
album
bop.
on and pack all your shit up. Yeah, I've very much enjoyed it. So
Nice.
I don't know. You guys don't have to do flop or bops. It's totally your call. But I just had to lead the charge.
I don't know if you want me to leave you hanging or not, TJ, but I mean, I will definitely bop this record. What if I flopped this record? What if I was like,
That would be
"Guys, this
insane,
is-
'cause this
I
is-
just don't remember this as good as when I was a kid.
Josh,
know?
this is like your third secret wish list record because we always do our wish lists and then you've been sneaking them in left and
so
right like a
sneaky.
motherfucker.
No, Val, I told the guys. So I had us all pick 3 wish list records, like schedule for this year or whatever, and this was because it was turning 25. Like, I really wanted to pick this one, but there's like some other ones. I'm like, I feel like I should pick these as well. So like, I was like, I went back and forth a lot on like, should I do Fourth from the Last for its 25th anniversary? But like, I found I found a loophole. If you get an interview, you can sneak in your wish list
Your
with
wish
the
list,
interview,
because then we have to cover it.
and it doesn't. We have to cover it, and it doesn't count against
against
my
this
other
wish
wish
list.
list records.
Yeah.
I'm a
So-
loophole.
You
are a loophole.
Nice.
That's the only reason
You
you're
are
here,
a
man.
loophole.
Good,
Yeah,
good,
exactly.
okay. I'm
So,
glad I served a purpose.
I've just been so stoked that we actually got to cover this record for its 25th anniversary, and yeah, I loved listening to it when I was a kid, and then I rediscovered it in 2009 in high school, and I loved it then. And it's been a while since I listened to it, and I got to re-listen to it again, and I mean, I think it's great. Holds up. It sounds great. Like I didn't remember how good the production was on it, but then listening to it, I was like, this is like sonically,
Production is
it's all
really
there.
tight.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. So I was worried about that. I was like, oh, it's their first record. Maybe they didn't get a big budget, but no, it sounds great. Great songs, great memories, great times.
Great.
Big bop.
Great. Say, one more great. One more great, Josh.
Great game that I made.
Great
earlier.
game. There you go. There you go.
Great premise for games.
That's true.
In this SOG
It
title.
was a great premise for a game. Yes.
If other people want to use that, I don't want to toot my own horn.
Toot away, buddy.
Toot your own sax.
I can weigh in here. So, much like Kylan, I would say I can be pretty swayed by my environment or my mood or my whatever the rhythm of the day that I'm experiencing is, and that can kind of weigh in with how I feel about an album. And this is definitely one of those that is very it's so niche, it's such a specific kind of album that I could probably listen to it one day and be like, it's not my favorite. But the times that I've listened as we were ramping up for this episode, I've been traveling a lot, so I've been in the car a lot, and I've just been cruising down highways with blue skies, big white puffy clouds, and a lot of weird, awesome swing ska. And you know what? It's a squap.
It's a squap.
All right.
You weren't getting
It's a
chased
squap.
by a contractor in a big souped up car.
That
Yeah.
specific
On the road?
experience hasn't happened to me
Oh,
yet.
good. I'm glad.
Yeah,
But you did break into someone's house to feed their dog, so
that I did.
it makes sense why you would relate.
Yeah, and I made sure to blast that song from my car when I did it.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's a ska swing bop for me. It's a
It's a
squab.
squab. Hashtag
Squab.
squab.
Nice.
Hashtag squab.
You made it all the way to the end.
Yeah,
Did it.
exactly.
Hashtag squap.
Did it. Squab.
How insane would it be if Val flopped this record?
I would.
Oh, I'm supposed to do
lose
this
my
too?
mind.
Yeah, dude, you got to.
I mean,
if
you
you had
gotta
to do it,
weigh
you
in.
got to do it.
Okay, so listening to it the last week or whatever, I have enjoyed it. You know, it's brought back some good memories and everything. So, like both of you guys, I think it's very much like you need to be in the mood for it. But
Textual.
yeah, I think I guess I was in the mood for it, and like I said, I loved hearing Jason E again. So I'll give it a bop.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Quadruple
Nice,
bop, baby.
Quad bop.
Ayo. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about it? Like just now as like part of the W's legacy. Like I don't know, how does the record?
I mean, I
land
didn't
with
realize
you?
we
Are
had a
you-
legacy. We have 2 CDs.
Surprise.
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I don't think about it that much. I don't think about the W's. Every once in a while, like a story pops into my head, and I'll tell one of my friends something, and they'd be like, "Wait a minute, you were in a band and you played in front of big crowds and stuff," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah,
Played with
I guess
DC Talk.
it just doesn't."
Yeah.
I don't think about it a lot.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't really think about us having we kind of broke up unceremoniously and just kind of fell off the face of the earth. So there was talk about us getting back together again at one point, 10 years ago. Like some promoter contacted James, and James reached out to the rest of us, and Andrew was like, "No, I don't want to do it. But if you guys want to do it, you can." There's this guy from another band in Corvallis that we all liked, and he's Andrew's brother-in-law now. So he's like, "Yeah, you can have Mark play guitar and sing." And we were like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." And so we started all practicing at our own homes and stuff. And then it kind of got to a point where Todd was like, "I don't know, Todd didn't really want to be in a band anymore, and he kind of didn't want to do it anymore." And so it just kind of fell apart at that point, kind of like how the band fell apart to begin with. And so
Right.
I was like, oh well. And, that was the last time I really thought about the W's, I guess. And since then, I just kind of blocked it out of my memory because I got super depressed when it all kind of fell apart again. Because I was looking forward to playing these songs for my kids and having them see me
Yeah.
do it, because I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I want them to see this because they've seen videos of it and stuff, but it
Right.
it'll be different
But
for
to
them
share
to
this
see
Yeah.
yeah.
part of
I was
you?
really
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And my friends had been hearing about it and they were all excited and stuff, and then it just kind of stopped. And
Yeah, that is a
yeah,
bummer.
I got super depressed and had to talk to my therapist a lot, and but I'm over it now, and
Good on you.
just haven't. Yeah, so I don't think about it a lot, probably for that reason.
Right.
But yeah,
That makes sense. Well, we appreciate you recognizing that within a specific, for certain people like us, you do have a legacy, and for coming on and talking to us and just telling stories and letting us joke around and stuff, man. obviously I can't speak for the other guys, but I've had an incredible time tonight. Like, I can't believe it's already
Same.
9:00. It's been super fun talking to you. Is there, usually we use this time to like plug stuff. If you have anything, I don't know if you.
I mean, so I still write and record music, but I don't release it or anything.
Okay.
Like back 10 years ago, I had like a SoundCloud and a Bandcamp and stuff. And
Okay.
as a part of my spiraling depression, I just kind of, I deleted all my my Instagram, my Bandcamp, my SoundCloud and everything. And I had this like, what's the point kind of attitude at the time. And since then I just haven't felt the need to put anything back up. Like I'll make CDs and just send them to my family and friends. I call it the nonsense dispatch. And I'll just mail them CDRs of music I've recorded. But that's about it. I'm not really looking to come back or anything like that. So yeah.
Well, I know he won't ask for it, so I'm gonna ask for Josh. Next time you do one of those, you should send Josh some stuff. He won't do anything with it except listen to it on his own and be very excited.
Val has my address already. So.
I do have his address, yes. I sent him all this other stuff. So
That's
Nice.
super cool though. Well, guys, do we have anything else we want to?
I just want our next Patreon goal to be raising enough money to create multiversal reality travel so that we can send Val to be in Dog Trout.
Dog Trout, yeah.
He can kill the other Val.
That's
We
right.
won't tell anybody.
Jesus.
That's
it
pretty
got
dark.
It got dark.
Yeah.
And then he can replace him, and then you can make your ska movie cover band.
This is beautiful.
It'll be great.
I don't know why. I just by default say things TJ says. When TJ talks a lot,
beautiful.
I say that's beautiful because he's very
He does it so
articulate. But then I just
eloquently.
realized
Yeah.
within context, like, no,
Me
that's
killing the alternate
Well,
me.
it's not
that shit
beautiful for the
insane,
other
TJ.
Val.
Real Rick and Morty
It's
situation
really
there.
beautiful. Yes, exactly. It is very Rick and Morty.
prestige.
Precisely.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
that's
Well,
good,
okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Val, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
We super
Yeah,
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
dude.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Our listeners are gonna get a kick out of this as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, for all the jammers out there listening, if you like this, we have more nonsense like this over at Patreon at patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast. You can also follow us on all the social media stuff at Church Jams Now. I think that's all we got. Until next time, may all your favorite bands stay together, and peace out, Monfreyers.
Church jams now.
Is that a one take? I forgot to mention that, but I love that part.